Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dax Jones, and welcome to the Still Standing podcast. I'm joined by Joe Zombie. Happy 420.
Yeah. I'm just toking it up out here.
Yeah, eating all the gummies. Yeah.
420's never been a particularly large celebration for me.
No, you live in Alabama. I get it.
Yeah.
It's what happens when we live here. You know,
even when I've been in places that
Sure.
are 420 friendly, I guess.
Yeah,
we should say it's never,
I eat my gummies. They help with my anxiety, and that's about as far as 420 as I get because I live in Alabama. So that's about that. But this will actually be going up on 421. But we're gonna be making all of the weed jokes today. So
Absolutely.
just be ready for that, and just understand
here just
this is recorded on the 20th. Yeah, you look like Elon Musk during a party.
No, if I'm a Muslim.
What is it? The
Yeah. Or he just looks.
You have to do the weird face. I don't.
That man looked like he had never smoked anything in his life.
It was like watching a lizard brain activate. It's just like, ooh, what is this? Like SpongeGar. Ooh. Yeah.
It felt like, kids you would see in high school or whatever, the first time they would do it.
The kids that would smoke, but they wouldn't inhale, and they're like,
yeah,
I'm so high. And you're like, yeah, you're so high, bro. So high.
Like, first off, I know you're lying, because at no point have you coughed, not once.
Firstly, you're probably right. You were probably still high because we would hotbox the garage, but that's a completely different story, allegedly. Also, I was a teenager. Also, who cares if you weed? Fuck off. Get over yourself. So,
I have been in rooms where you could not see your hand in front of your face.
Yeah. You know those scenes? I think this was a thing in, or at least it was at certain points, but in like that '70s show where it would just be like just smoke everywhere around them, and they're all just like,
yeah.
Hey man,
they would never. You never see them smoking, but you pretty much knew what had happened.
Yeah,
we're not stupid.
Correct. Yeah. It was always those damn sandwiches, so steamy.
Yeah. we made sandwiches on a wood burning stove.
Yeah.
That's what
that is one of my favorite jokes from How I Met Your Mother is whenever
they're always sandwiches.
No, it's whenever Marshall, who apparently I just grew up and became, whenever Marshall is on the roof during the Christmas episode, and he asked like a neighbor kid to like help him, and then like the kid like goes in the house, and he's stuck up on the roof, and he looks down through the skylight, and the kid is just looking at him, like the teenager's just looking at him eating a sandwich, and he's just like, ah, ah, but it's like you can't hear anything, it's all like soundproofed, and he's just like. It's just so good. No, I will not watch How I Met Your Mother. I have no interest.
You mean How I Met Your Father?
Oh yeah, that one. The whatever the new one is. Sorry,
you were like, I love How I Met Your Mother. No, I won't watch it.
Yeah, no, the new one. The new one I have no interest in. No, thank you. It looks not for me.
I've watched the one scene, and I will never watch anything else. It can't get better than that. Why would I even try?
I mean, you're right, but also, woo. So, how's your week been? To segue away from my flub dub, how you been? You look good.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm feeling a bit under the weather today, a little bit, but it happens.
It does happen.
But I just had my brother just went back to California yesterday, a couple days ago. So that was a bit sad. But
sure.
Other than that, I mean, I've been doing okay. Been playing, got a couple new games in the rotation that I've been playing.
Fun.
Which I've, talk about. I've actually been, it's something we've been playing on stream, but I started playing it off camera as well, which is In Sound Mind, which I've been having fun with.
Yeah, that
But
game, that part we're at, I'm hoping. I mean, I don't care if you play ahead and can guide me through it, because like I do want to see the story and I want everybody to see the story. But that part we got to one. For those of you watching, that was at the tail end of a marathon, an absolute
I think
marathon.
that may have affected our mental state with that a little bit.
An absolute marathon. I'd been up for almost 24 hours at that point because we had done so much that day, and I'd started before it wasn't that we just recorded for 24 hours. It was that I had been doing stuff for work ahead of that, and then we got into the recording. And then so when those episodes come up and you're like, why does he keep closing one eye and focusing? It's because like my brain does this weird thing when I'm really tired. I don't know if it's trying to save processing power or what it is, but I will close one of my eyes as if my brain is like, nah, we can't run both security cameras. We got to pick one and stick with it. And so if you ever see me doing this right here, like, I'm either really focusing, like trying to like see something, or I am like literally about to pass out.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like I've asked you about it before, like, you know, a long time ago when you were like that, because we'd be playing, you're just like,
yeah, because I just,
it's just like,
so if you ever see me do that, it's because I'm either super focused on something and I'm trying to see something and I'm like, I think my eyes are lying to me, or I'm like, or if I'm doing it for a prolonged period of time, it's because my brain is like, shut it all down, skeleton crew, shut it all down.
He's not having a stroke. He's not.
Yeah. So when you see those episodes and you see me doing this right here,
his night vision because it's dark.
Yeah, when you see me doing this right here, I'm not flipping up an eye patch. It's because I'm like literally like running on fumes at that point. But it was still fun. It was just like the part we got to, I was just like, okay, there.
We had been through a lot that day.
I thought it was going to be one or two ostriches, and there was not just a few ostriches. There's like 7 ostriches in that grocery store. So
yeah, I actually did get through that part a little. I actually got through that whole.
Is it further? Is it what we thought it was, where there's actually 7 of them, or is it going to be?
No, like, there's still only the 5.
Okay,
but there's a lot of interesting like Easter eggs and stuff that you can find.
Sure. So the Switch thing, is the Switch thing going to be where we turn them all on, or is it going to be where you have to switch them all randomly?
It's super easy to do.
Okay. It looks daunting in a way that we literally stopped it there and just went, no, I don't have the brain for this. Yeah,
it's super funny because I felt like it maybe because of like, you know, how I have to like view it in like, cause I have a fairly small screen that I'm trying to look at it from.
Right.
But I definitely felt like less of an idiot with playing it myself than I did while we were trying to get through it.
Right.
Because like I didn't really have like, of course there's like some puzzles and stuff where you kind of like got to go around the fucking grocery store and look for stuff.
Right.
And there's a few times
I'm not asking it to not be a game. I'm just asking it to not waste my time.
But I'm saying it's like that area, that store is like literally like the size of a fucking like Costco. So some of that stuff takes a while. And you're like, sure. God, where and you can look at the map and kind of figure out where you need to go if you find one of the maps on the wall. It's actually super useful. But you also kind of have to remember, like, you know, there's no objective markers really, aside from you can look in the mirror little shard that you have, and when you look behind you, there's like a ton of stuff that you see. Like there are items that are useful items that'll be like highlighted in blue, and then the mirrors are like purple portals, so you can kind of figure your way like that way. But like when you go for like some of the like the side stuff, like you know, you find all the stuff, eventually you can activate like all the scanners to get the coins. So you kind of have to remember where the stuff you need to go do is.
Like, you know, you find all those coins, or is that just like bonus upgrades?
Most of it's bonus upgrades, but there is one that I want us to do because it's a pretty cool Easter egg Easter egg.
I mean, look, if you know where to do it, I'll do it. I'll be on the sticks and it's fine. But
where you basically the
thought of me having to sneak around a grocery store to find a granola bar that's worth $3.75 that I can scan exactly 3 times on 2 different registers to get a coin just sounds like a waste of time. So if there's something worth doing, that's fine. We'll do it. But holy smokes,
whether you think it's worth doing or not, you've kind of been like me about it. But
I mean, it's just like the game was super, like it was like super. I was very into it, and like we haven't gone far enough. We haven't gone very far into it, but we've only done 2 episodes. But the first episode was like all this intrigue and the world is changing around, all this cool stuff, and then the second episode is like you're in a fucking grocery store, have fun, and you're like, I feel like we took a turn and we're not in the weird cool stuff anymore. We're now just like walking around looking into a shard of glass, and it's like it kind of feels like they like to put all the cool stuff at the front, and I'm hoping we get back to the cool stuff because like that stuff was very interesting. And
yeah,
now,
you haven't even met Dave yet.
Right, but I'm saying like right now we're just walking around with a shard of glass, just like having to look behind you because you can't look forwards. It's like God, I hope we get back to the cool stuff after the grocery store, because the grocery store is
there's some neat stuff in the grocery store.
Sure. What else have you played? I'm not trying to be down on the game, because I do think it is cool so far, but the grocery store definitely was like, but then again, I was also super tired the last time we played it. So like my thoughts are maybe a little, shrouded in like, oh my God, why? I just, yeah. So
it's not just that we were tired or you were tired. It's we had gone through the emotional roller coaster that was Cooking Companions before that.
Yeah. That episode
may have been a mistake.
Episode that played yesterday. I think we should record Cooking Companions at the end of our sessions going forward. I'm just going to be 100% honest, because
I don't know. Depending on what we're playing, it might be better to record it first.
I mean, it's possible, but like that Gregor moment that we're not going to talk about, go watch the episode. The episode is called I Don't Have Words.
It's emotionally crushing for everyone involved.
It crushed us. If you watch that episode, watch the next like 4 episodes, because we recorded those back to back, and we are just broken.
You are just visibly deflated.
Yeah, because we were literally like, oh my God, this person is our homie. We're gonna protect him no matter what, because that's how we're thinking of us playing as a character. And then we find out that the narrator not very trustworthy, and we find out a little more about who we're playing as. I guess we'll talk a little bit about this now, but I'll talk about this more back in the episodes when we do those. I looked up that thing that you keep asking everybody, because I wanted to know what the lore was of this game.
Sure.
That's apparently the thing that Baba Yaga asks people when they show up at her birdhouse.
Oh.
So
is that what this is based on?
So I'm guessing we're either Baba Yaga or we are possessed by Baba Yaga, because at the very beginning of the game, they call us ugly.
Yeah.
And
there's also a part in there where someone calls you ma'am.
Right. Yes, says, ma'am, you're coming with me, and everyone else refers to you in very neutral terms.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and our body doesn't seem to be our own. So I think that maybe we are a person who has been physically changed and is also possessed by like the spirit of Baba Yaga, because the vegetables are very much like, Corinne is like the only one who is like also a possible new master of the cabin, and it's like, okay, well, that's not
we keep having to fight for control.
Right. Yeah. So I think that we are. It's blatantly that is that we are either Baba Yaga or possessed by Baba Yaga, but I think we're possessed by Baba Yaga because we keep blacking out.
Yeah, and we keep being like,
but
we wake up and be like, man, I guess this sleepwalking's pretty weird.
Right, but we were thinking, oh man, us and all our friends are on a trip because we're all talking like we knew each other, and then you get the context for that, and you're like, never mind, it's our house, and they showed up, and you're like, oh, okay.
It also explains why they keep going out to gather stuff instead of like, asking us to do anything like that.
Right, because it's our house. They're the guest. So I'm excited now with that context. I'm now very excited to see where that goes, and I don't know that we will need to go back and play through the game again because of that new Game Plus mode we unlocked. That's like the speed up version to get you back to stuff, because apparently there's more story stuff in that. So I'm guessing that there's probably like some little joke endings we might go for, so maybe some very short endings at the beginning. I don't know. I'll look into that when we get to it, but I stopped looking into it when I found out we kept unlocking new story stuff. So I was just like, I'll avoid that for now. But all I knew is that we were like trying to make choices in this game because we knew there's 7 different endings, and nothing we did made a difference.
Not a damn thing.
Nothing.
We had quote unquote choices. We had choices.
Yeah, we were making choices based off how we would do things, not realizing that our will was not our own.
Also, apparently, when you make certain choices how you think you should do them, it just results in the most horror.
It evolves. It turns into the event that ruins everyone's day for literally the entire day.
Well, we apparently fucking stare at the floor and talk to ourselves, I guess.
That scene, go watch that episode. That scene is rough because I commit to acting that bit out. I commit to that scene. And I'm having to play every part because I voiced both the characters involved. I commit to
pretending I'm not listening.
And he commits to literally being like, and this is how long our character stood here, and is just like trying to find a happy place while I'm acting all this out. And it is just grisly. It is just truly grisly. I cannot believe, I'm not going to say anything about it, but I'm just going to say I cannot believe the thumbnail that YouTube wanted me to use for that episode.
I saw that.
God bless. I texted him because I was like uploading episodes, and it was like, hey, and if you don't have your own episode, you can use this. And I was like,
hey, do you want the worst memories?
Fuck you,
like,
YouTube.
I don't.
Fuck you. Yeah, I was like, fuck you, no way. And but yeah, it was.
How could you do this to my boy?
So I made my own thumbnail for that episode. You should go watch it. I would appreciate it because we really
it'd be great if
we really put our own actual blood, sweat, and tears into that one. But other than playing in Sound Mind, what have you been doing?
I've been playing, of course, I've been going back and forth between, we played a bit of Fortnite last week, which was, it's Fortnite.
It's been fun. The no build mode has given me a new appreciation for that game again.
It's actually, that actually has gotten me playing more than
it's because normally. It's fun now because you can focus on the wacky, zany gameplay and not someone going, I
like,
should have castle.
He just, he built a Hilton. Great.
Yeah, you literally just
and I have to like shoot through it for an hour.
You take your controller and you go, I did it. Yeah. Also, my battery pack is green, so if you see that, you're like, what is happening? That's
I'm super glad that it's just. I mean, I guess people could argue that it's just like every other battle royale game, but I don't.
It's not. There's so much chaos and stuff in that. It's not that way at all.
But yeah, we played that. I've played a little bit of Grand Theft Auto Online by myself, but mostly just doing car stuff and trying to build out my wardrobe again.
The car meet stuff is cool, and they've added a lot of new clothes to this stuff, so I get it. But that was kind of
we played some No Man's Sky. I got to bumble around and do what I felt like was nothing.
God, that new
and get murdered by pirates the entire time. That
new update is so good, and the patch for that came out finally.
Good, because I like to be able to walk on the surface of a planet without being bombarded. Thank you.
So in No Man's Sky, I built my town on an extreme weather Arctic planet where it is constantly like negative 300 degrees.
I just got dropped on one of those.
But all of my buildings, where I spawned. But all of my buildings are super warm and toasty, and everybody's like enjoying being warm, and it's all nice and it's cozy. My town is very cozy because it's terrible outside, but it's like warm inside. And so I love that. But with that new pirate update and the bug that was going on, in case you guys don't know, No Man's Sky released an update that's like their 19th free expansion, the Outlaw update, and it adds where you can be a space pirate. There are new space pirate space stations, and pirates will randomly attack in like settlements and stuff, and if you help them, then you will get paid, and they'll attack your settlement that you own, and you have to defend it, and you can get rewards and stuff, which was great if you wanted to farm those for the rewards, because there was a bug that made them happen every 3 minutes. So the moment you arrive at your town, they immediately show up, and it's like 6 ships, and you have to like literally go get in your ship, fly up, and start defending yourself. And
you're like, hey, that was awesome. That was cool.
You're like, wow, that was cool. And then you land your ship, and by the time you've got to the settlement console to do something, it says your settlement is under attack again, and you're just like, oh my god. So by the end of it, you're literally just like seeing like bullet holes coming through the roof, and you're just like, I don't care anymore.
Or you could be like this guy where you're like, I need carbon.
Oh, that's true, because you don't have a settlement. Yeah, so you're like literally like, I need carbon, and they're just like, hey, I'm in danger, because they're literally just, it's literally that scene from that movie where the plane is like chasing them down the corn rows, and they like fall down. Like, it's absolutely that, because like he's literally running, and they're just like, and there's like 6 of them, so like of course you can't outrun them on foot. That's dumb.
Have a computer like in the middle of nowhere, just like my base computer, just like on my ice planet that I spawned in, and it's just like pirates going, we gotta get that computer, boys. Like, why do you need, I don't have anything, leave me alone.
Yeah, that's nuts. But that update is awesome. But that aside, that update is very good. They've added a lot of cool stuff. They've added new Count Dooku ships, like with the solar sails on them.
They also the Twitch drop ships were really good that we got.
Yes, they did a lot of
really
crazy Twitch drops, both customizations and some ships that were very neat.
But for me, it's just like No Man's Sky is still a game I don't know, at least right now, logging in by myself, I just look at it and go, I don't know what I'm doing or what to do. I guess I'll build this thing.
I mean,
and then I play for like 20 minutes, and then I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do this.
I mean, that's kind of, it is still one of those build your own fun kind of games, but you do, as you build things, you will unlock, like when you build your first base, the base computer will activate once you build your first base, and it will start defragmenting data. And so like every actual like day you come up to it and talk to it, it'll be like, we've defragged another piece of data, go to this planet and find it. And you do that and you unlock more furniture or more things to do, more things to build. And then as you build the different stations and you hire like the specialist, like the weapon specialist, the agricultural specialist, the I think it's a science terminal, the other person, and you do those and then hire people to work in those terminals, they will all have their own quest chains as well. And that was like vanilla stuff. So that's like some of the stuff just to get you started. But now it's like, I was like rolling along minding my own business, and I got a distress signal, and it was called like Rebel Wave or something like that, or Under a Rebel Sun or Under a Rebel Star. And so following that was literally the quest chain that introduces you to the outlaw faction and like the pirate terminals and stuff. And if you do that whole thing, you unlock a helmet with a hood on it that looks like Darth Revan that you can customize.
Sure.
It's very cool. You like get like a hood over, like a cowl over your head, like a pirate, and then
we've come a long way from go to the Galactic Core and find God.
Yes, we have. Yeah,
we gotta go find Cube Jesus.
Yeah, that game has turned around in a way that is absolutely incredible, and it is still it's very fun. It's a thing that I like to, when I'm listening to podcasts, it's the kind of game that I will play while I'm doing that. So if you're listening to this podcast, maybe boot up to No Man's Sky and enjoy.
Yeah. Also, and then I guess the final game that I've really been playing, that I started playing a few days ago, because it came out on Game Pass, and I definitely feel like if you have Game Pass, you should definitely play this game. It's called Lost in Random.
So tell me about this game. So it looks like it's all dice rolling. Is it dice rolling, or is it turn based like combat, like Final Fantasy?
It's more like if you played Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, it's more like that, where you have like your action combat stuff,
like the cards.
You roll dice, and whatever it rolls is how many points you get to spend on that turn, basically. And you get a hand of cards that has, all of them have point values, and they all do different stuff. So it's a deck building action combat game, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, now I have to try it out, because you said Chain of Memories, and that's probably one of the most fun Kingdom Hearts games to actually play.
But like you get cards, and that's what gives you weapons and stuff. You have a slingshot where like each of the enemies have like these crystals that grow on them, and you shoot those crystals, and that's what gives you the energy to like roll your dice, and that's how you draw cards and you get points to play stuff. But each time you roll the dice, what's in your hand, you lose it, and you have to draw new cards. Luckily, all that stuff recycles. So once you're out of, like, if you have a combat encounter that goes on a long time, then you can still keep drawing cards. It's not like, oh, I'm out of cards. Well, I guess I'll die.
Right.
But it's, for me, the combat's fun. I mean, the combat encounters it's not too difficult a game to really wrap your head around how to play it. But for me, what's really cool is it's a very interesting, at least for me, I've had a lot of fun being just, the world is cool to me, because it's all based on, basically random rules, as they say. Like everyone's station in life is literally based on what die they roll once
weird.
Everyone, when they turn 12, rolls a dice from this queen.
That's where your lot in life gets chosen from.
And that's how you choose your lot in life. If you're you might be in One Croft, you might be in Two Town, you might be in Threeburg, I think.
Sure.
It all of them have but
everyone soda, 5-ichigan, 6.
Yeah, but everyone wants to be in 6 Topless is what it's called. But basically, you play you play a girl whose sister, basically she turns 12 before you do, and she rolls a 6 and gets taken by the queen to Sixtopolis, and you're
And
like,
you
I want
roll
my
a
sister
1.
back. No, you're not old enough to roll yet.
Oh, okay, got you. I thought it was gonna be one of those things where it's like she rolled a 6 and gets a life of luxury. You roll a 1 and you hate yourself.
No, it's one of those things like, and of course, your call to adventure is, you start having these dreams about your sister not having what you would think to be a good time, and maybe not everything in Sixtopolis is, paradise and wonder.
Or maybe you're just imagining the whole thing.
Well, not necessarily, but sure, it could end up being that.
Like you're like, it's like, did I leave the stove on? Is the stove on fire? And you like get home and nothing has happened.
But yeah. But it's really cool. Like currently, I'm in Two Town, and the big thing about that is like everyone has two personalities, one way or the other. Like one guy might be happy and sad, another guy might be logical and emotional. It's like it's all divided evenly, but how that division goes is different for every person.
So how is that going to work in like? Because okay, so that's interesting in the one, because the one zone is probably like the tutorial zone.
Yes, one's where you live and you're, destitute and everything's shitty.
And then like the 2 is everybody is split down the middle. How do you then work upon that with 3?
I don't know. It depends on
is everyone having 3 ways constantly. Like
probably not.
It's probably
yeah. There actually was a pretty fun one and a pretty fun interaction because you could talk to a bunch of characters in the town. Like each town is like an open area that you can kind of like adventure through.
Sure.
Because so basically what it smacks of is like old school like Xbox and PS2 like adventure platformer type games, where like in how in Banjo-Kazooie, like you had like each world was its own little separate thing,
and then the actual zone itself. I got you.
Well, there's not currently a hub world, but each zone is its own like whole like city thing, and there's all different characters
no
in
going
each zone,
into a painting
sort of
like Mario type thing. Then.
Yeah,
gotcha.
No. So it currently it kind of seems a bit linear, where you're just kind of like going from 1 to 2 to 3, so on and so forth. But again, I'm like an hour and a half into the game. But I think one of my favorite character reactions is I was talking to these 2 twins in Two Town, and they were like, "Yeah, we're twins. We share everything." And then they're like, "We share this and that." And then like one of them's like, "We share husbands." And she's like, "Yeah, wait, what?" Yeah, no, husband. More love for everybody. No.
We share everything. No. And you can go home.
It's like they're like, we're gonna have to go talk about this. It was nice meeting you. And when you try to talk to him again, like there's this narrator that's been kind of like talking throughout, and it's just like Eve, like you play as a girl called Eve, and she's like, yeah, you realize that you've stuck your nose in their life enough, and you should be on your way.
That's nice. That's a good one. I thought it was gonna be one of those things where it's like, I'm not going to repeat what they're saying. There's like
there are some people that like the dice that you get is like a living dice, and that's how it basically kind of talks to you. And it's kind of like Chewbacca and Han, where he'll just be like, I'm like, oh yeah, I know. It's just like I'm having a good time too, sort of thing. Where
yeah, have a great time.
Yeah.
Cool. Me too.
Absolutely.
Do you want some punch? All right, I'll get you some.
There is actually a thing where I think they're called like bloops, and you have to like.
That's a video game name.
Like, there are literally these like slimes that you have to go find for like a little side quest from someone, and apparently their existence is nothing but pain. So all they do is like find a place and scream.
Good God.
So when you go and find them, you're like, all right, so what's are there any new bloop rumors you want to tell me about? And it's just like, ah! You're like, oh man, that's a total bloop move. Yeah, the new bloops.
Like, I mean, so that entire
because when
game...
people talk to you, you can choose different dialogue, which is fun because it's actually some of the writing's pretty clever, but it's and like even their description for the bloops when you find them, it's just like, so these things have been called as like the most useless things in random.
I thought it was
at least that's what the powers that be want you to think.
Right.
But that for me, that's what kind of kept me playing. Is like the gameplay's fun. It's not the most polished game in the world. You'll see some frame rate drops, and it's not it's not certainly not the prettiest game. It really does look like a remastered like original Xbox game. But the art style is cool.
It looks like the art style of Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
Like it looks like a Tim Burton film or something.
Yeah, the environments are interesting, and for me, it's just like what's really kept me going is like the world and the characters have just been like, oh, like every time I get to a new spot, like there's something that's like, oh, that's cool.
Right. That's very much a thing that I feel like the Fable series did very well, or has done well. Not that they're
it does kind of feel like that as well.
It's one of those things kind of
feel like Fable 1.
You walk past a dude and all he does is sell you chocolates for your sister's birthday.
Yeah.
And then, or like the guards are like, oh, wait, he's over there, I'm going for him. You're breaking the law. We caught on to you. I'm going to tell your father.
But yes, it does kind of feel like Fable in a way, too, where you kind of like, there's people who, and pretty much you can talk to basically anyone. They might not all have something worthwhile to say, but you can talk to everybody. And everyone has a character. Like, it's not all just, hello, I am shopkeeper. Would you like shop now?
Man.
Like, you can buy new cards and stuff, and the shopkeeper is literally a man. And you can keep asking him about it, whether or not he was born as a store or if he literally like built the store around him.
Right.
Because he literally walks around with the store like his arms and legs are poking out.
Oh, that's the dude. That's the dude in the thumbnail that has like a curtain in front of his face, like pulled it like the flaps to the side. Okay.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, like when you find him, he's closed and he'll like open up and be like, "Hey, you want cards?"
That's funny. I was listening to another podcast and this week, and they spoiled the story for Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy for me.
Oh, did they? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I don't know. It actually, I don't know that it makes me want to play the game.
Well, to be honest, I was going to ask if the story was so nonsensical it doesn't matter.
It is. I mean, I almost kind of want to talk about it right here just because it doesn't matter. And also the trailer for the game ruins the ending.
Oh,
the trailer for the game spoils it. Okay. All right. So if you don't want to hear this, jump like 5 minutes ahead. I'm just going to say that now. Just go ahead and jump 5 minutes ahead. It's fine. We'll discuss it very quickly but if you want to hear this, it might actually
hold my coffee cup up, and when I have it down, you can tune back in.
Yeah. Hold your coffee cup up, and when the coffee cup comes back down, spoilers are over, so you'll know. Okay, so, holy man! So it may actually before we start spoilers, this may actually make you want to play this game. I don't know, but
I'm not going to pay $60 for it, but yeah, maybe.
No, I might want to play it at some point when it's on sale, because apparently everybody says the story is nonsensical and dumb and the gameplay is actually really fun, and that it has co-op and that's fun too. But okay, spoiler time is beginning, so you got your cup up. Okay, ready? Okay, here we go. Spoiler time. The main character is Garland.
Of course it is.
His name is Jack Garland. They call him that in the trailer.
Yeah.
That's he is Garland. So the entire time he is apparently saying, "I'm gonna kill chaos," while he's listening to Frank Sinatra and Limp Bizkit through the game, and he keeps talking about chaos. And then you get to the end of the game, and then Garland is like, or Jake is like, "I'm gonna become." We realized that we need to train the Warriors of Light, and so in order to train the Warriors of Light, we need to all become bad guys so that we can be things and hurdles in their path, so they can become stronger. And so he becomes Garland, and all your other dude bros are like, we're going to side with bad guys too. We'll all be... So all the bosses you fight in the game are all your buddies that are just transformed into evil monsters now, and like demons and like other characters. So every character in the game that you come across is one of your party members as a boss. And Jack is Garland from Final Fantasy 1, and all these other bosses that you're fighting throughout Final Fantasy are all just your homies just doing their due diligence to be evil and become bosses so you can train the future warriors. So you can become a better warrior? So that the people who are actually the heroes in Final Fantasy 1 can become the actual life-saving heroes they're supposed to be in all the other alternate universes and stuff.
So this is literally what they mean by it's a prequel to Final Fantasy 1, is that?
Yeah, and I really hope they don't ever...
Prequel / remake, I guess.
I hope they really don't ever go back to the well on this and try to explain every Final Fantasy villain that way, because I don't want to play an entire game to learn that Kefka was just a training exercise, or that Auron was like a fish salesman or something. Like I don't need any of that. That's not a thing that I need. So, but yeah, apparently that's how it goes. So the cutscene at the beginning where there's like a character who's like, "I love you," by the way, and he talks different. He's like, "I love you. I just want you to know. We should talk about this, whatever." And then it turns out that like Garland kidnaps the princess woman or whatever. That's actually your character, and he actually stops talking like this, so he can talk like the prince whenever he's on screen, and people don't know who he is off screen, whatever. And then he drops the voice back to his normal voice. It goes back to being like chaos. Ugh. That's the game.
So are you playing both characters at the same time, or is this some sort of weird cyclical time loop?
It's like you just play as the characters in the party. You don't play as the bad guys. You play as the good guys and go kill yourself you go kill all those characters and become all these things that you've been fighting in the game.
Stranger in Paradise, you play as the guy who becomes the villain. Yes,
and then you fight them, and basically, like, you're here in the cycle. You work through the cycle to here where you become them, and then you're here, and then you fight yourself, and then you become them, and then you're here, and you fight yourself and become them, and you're here, you fight yourself, and you become them. So the opening cutscene to the game is the ending cutscene of the game.
Okay. Hey, so game designers, it doesn't always have to be a loop. We don't have to do this. We don't need it to be cyclical. Why is this always a thing?
I don't know. Dragon's Dogma did a really good job of it because it wasn't you. It was someone else in the cycle, and you could pick up the cycle and go. This is like you're literally fighting yourself.
Yeah.
And fighting yourself.
It becomes that thing of like, how is this a thing? Like, what is this weird time loop bullshit?
So that's the game. So that's the story. And I was like, wow, that's something, I guess. So yeah, I don't have any interest to play it for the story.
It very much does not want me to want to play the game. Yeah. I mean, if the gameplay is that fun, I'll go play like Devil May Cry or something.
Sure. But that's the story to that game. And I was like, well, that does not make me want to play it. But also maybe it does to see how dumb it looks to actually see it. But
yeah, it is one of those things. Like I've wanted to play that game for the same reasons why I like watching The Room with people. It's fun to make fun of it. Yes. It is fun to laugh at these dumb things. It's fun to laugh at the man having sex with her belly button. That's what's fun about the experience.
Yeah, correct. And so that's this game. This is apparently The Room, and I don't think they're in on the joke, but they might be in on the joke because they committed so hard to it. It
definitely seems like it takes itself way too seriously.
Yeah, like, it almost seems like a The Room situation where they took it very seriously and everyone else is receiving it going,
this is the best comedy ever made.
It's weird. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna take my cup down now.
Yeah, cup down. Give me 1 second. I will be right back. All right, and we're back. Hello, thanks for waiting. It almost felt like it was instantaneous for you watching at home.
Spoilers are over.
Yeah, so that was
Stranger in Paradise is a super weird game, and apparently, I wonder if they're gonna put any DLC or anything.
I don't know.
It's like, hey, we need to tell you about how other villains also were the heroes.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that was like the main character's last name being Garland in the trailer for the game. Is like, it's kind of hard for that to not be a spoiler or to not even consider that a spoiler because it's so upfront about it, right? So
it also kind of reminds me of like Final Fantasy X, where it's just like, hey, you know, your dad was the big hero, he's also the villain. It's
sure,
like, all right, sure.
That's like
spoilers for Final Fantasy X, but if you haven't played it by now,
that's like
you're not gonna.
40-year-old game at this point, so get over it. Yeah.
Well, even the remaster is like 2 or 3 years old.
It's way more than that. So much. I was working at GameStop when that game came out.
Oh.
That was.
I could have sworn it was.
Hold on, I'll check
the date. It was later.
No way.
Wow.
No way. Let's see.
Because when 10 and 10.2 got remastered, I guess.
Apparently, okay, I typed this in, and apparently there's a rumor about a Final Fantasy X-3.
Oh, please no. Not after 10.2. I don't need this.
A Final Fantasy X-3 story is already written, but Final Fantasy VII Remake is taking priority.
Good. I like that story more. Especially all the stuff they've done with the remake. I don't. 10.2 was nothing but a weird musical thing that just made the story even more weird and convoluted.
It released on December 26, 2013.
Oh, well, shit. I guess it is old.
Yeah.
It's almost 10 years old now.
Thank you.
The
I know.
remaster.
Yes, sir. I understand. That was the 10th I believe that was the 10th anniversary of the original, wasn't it? Because I think that one came out in 2003 or 2004. So I think something they released like that on the 10th anniversary, and then it came out on the Yeah, it came out. December 26th, 2013.
If you get mad about spoilers for Final Fantasy X, you don't have an excuse at this point.
Yeah.
There's so many times you could have played it and you didn't. This is on you.
It was released on the Vita, the PS3, the PlayStation 4, the PC, Switch, and Xbox One. So yes, you could literally could play it on anything at this point. Anyway, what else? Have you played anything else? I'm trying to think of what I have played. My God, I know what I've played. I have played quickly becoming my game of the year so far, because boy, they sure are doing some things right. But holy shit, that WWE 2K game is real good this year. Oh my God, I can't stop.
Usually when I get online, I see you playing that like almost every time.
It's so good. Oh, we've got news about that, but they just released a massive update that makes it even better because they're actually listening this year, and this new team that's working on this one, it's nuts. It's so good. I can't stop playing it. That game's so good. That last one put such a bad taste in my mouth, and the last like 3 before that were all right, but not great. Yeah. This one is just, when they came out and said it hits different, they were not fucking joking.
They weren't wrong, yeah.
They were not joking.
Yeah. Did you play what's the one that came out before this one? Was it Battlegrounds or something? Where it was like the weird
I did not play the one where they were.
Style?
I did not. I kept waiting for it to go on sale so I could buy it, because I did actually want to pick that one up, and I was contemplating getting it because you literally unlock your characters by as you play the game, you get coins, and you can use the coins to buy action figure blister packs. And I just remember with, the plastic in front of them. The trailer literally had someone being thrown and eaten by crocodiles. Into an alligator or something. Yeah, and I thought the game looked fun, and it reminded me of some of the art style on some of those, you take your divas and put them in weird chibi forms, and they all just look like thumbs. You take these women who are just absolutely sculpted out of marble and are so talented, and then you put them in forms where their heads are this big and their arms are so their bodies look like Doritos. Yeah, it's just, you're like, oh my God, it looks like an Among Us character. What have you done to these perfect specimens? I didn't want to play human. Bean woman. Yeah, it's weird. But that game did it had the appearance of being fun. As someone who hadn't played it, it had the appearance of being fun because it looked like the closest thing we ever had to that the old school arcade wrestling games that we there was that one, it was Legends, it was WWE Legends or whatever it was, the one that was basically you would jump 30 feet in the air and stunner somebody, you flew up in the air. That one was so fun. That one on the 360. If they remastered that game, everybody would buy it immediately, because it's the one that everybody goes back to and goes, this shit is great, because that game was a video game that played like you did when you owned the plastic ring and you had the action figures and you took them and had one go up. You didn't go, oh, I got him. You were like, okay, out of nowhere. Yeah, it was whatever. But that game is, you treated it more like an anime and less like a wrestling match. Absolutely. That game is great. Yeah, it's real good. So let's talk about, I guess if we don't have anything else that we've played to cover, we'll move on to the news. I can't think of anything else. Yeah. I can't think of anything that's super pressing, and obviously it's not standing out that much. Because I have not played Rune Factory this week because I've been so busy with work. You should talk about how you tried playing the Sonic Roblox. Okay, well, that's part of the news. That's part of the news as well. That'll go in the news. And so do we put that in the Sonic section, or do we start in the Roblox section? Because there's more than one Roblox news. Do we start in Roblox news and then use the Sonic Roblox thing to cross over to the Sonic section of the news? Sure, we'll do that, yeah. Okay, so Kim Kardashian is contemplating suing Roblox because of a ad for her sex tape found in a Roblox world. I'm sorry. First off, stop pretending that tape doesn't exist. You have a career because of it. Shut up. Secondly, who cares? Oh, really? I feel like you don't have enough money. You're just going to sue Roblox because there's an ad for your sex tape? Wah. Yeah, It was literally an image of her. Okay, apparently this is in the newest episode of their show, their new show they did. So, whatever.
Yeah, when they're like, oh, we're canceling Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Yeah, and then
but literally a week later,
show.
They're coming out with the Kardashians.
Yeah,
it's like,
correct. So, I've never watched an episode of that show, and I never will. Unless someone gives me a bunch of money to do it, and then I will.
I've only ever seen it in waiting rooms.
I've never even seen it then. But the story is that during an episode of their newest show, she walks in on one of her kids playing Roblox, and she's like, "What is that, honey? Is that your character?" And they're like, "No, I'm just hanging out in this place, and that's pictures of you." And it's literally like it's the meme picture of Kim doing that like boohoo face that she's doing. It's very famous for being a meme. And so she's like, "So that's not your character?" And they're like, "No." And she's like, "Well, then I guess I'm going to sue them because they're using my picture and my face." And then apparently the description for the room is like an ad that tells you where to go to watch the sex tape that you could find easily on Google, I'm sure.
Literally yeah.
But if you want to see a crooked penis, go watch that. Have fun. I don't, but you could. We've all seen it. Allegedly, we've all seen it. Anyway, so that was in their show, and then that person got banned, and she's talking about how she's going to sue Roblox because of this. Or
you might
possibly
say that her sex tape was a comeback story.
Yeah, could be. And so that's the thing. That person got banned. And there was nothing, as far as I know, there was nothing actually sexually explicit in Roblox, but it was an advertisement for a sex tape.
Yeah, for a sex tape.
So, and of course it drew the ire of someone who is crazy enough to marry Kanye West, so.
No. It's not the marriage point. One who was willing to let Kanye West impregnate them and be part of their lives forever.
Sure. Okay. Either way, it's all something.
I can go to the Kanye West thing, how that's super shitty of him, but that's, that's...
And we won't, because there's so much other things that are far more important to cover that I would rather cover other than that. But that leads into the fact that person got banned, and that's a thing, and now Kim Kardashian knows Roblox exists, and that there were ads for things in that.
Yeah, although I don't know how you can sue Roblox, because technically someone was violating their terms of service, and they banned them, which, they did what they had to do.
Also, there was not an actual picture of the thing. And also, is she going to sue Twitter because people post pictures of her on Twitter? It's the same thing. Using a picture of her face to decorate a room in Roblox as like a funny haha is the same thing. If you're creating a meme, it's the same thing as creating a game or a room in Roblox. It's no different. Unless you're charging for it, and they probably weren't.
Right now, I do not give anyone credit for the memes that I use in like text chats or Twitter or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're not like, it's not like a thing that's like, oh, it's like whenever you do a screenshot in a Square Enix game and it always forces the Square Enix watermark on it where it's like Square Enix 2019 and you're like, blah, this picture of Ignis looked cooler without your watermark. You big dummy.
You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and crop that out. Cool. Thanks, Square Enix.
Now I've cut off the bottom inch of my picture because I didn't want you to be in it. But apparently, in other Roblox news, there's apparently a really cool Sonic game that someone made alongside Sega that's like called like Sonic Speed Simulator, and I was like, oh man, I want to play that. It has Chow in it. That sounds super great. I'm gonna go play that. Downloaded it, went to go boot it up. I got an error code, and I looked up every solution you could have for the error code. They said, cycle your power. I'm like, okay. They're like, open up your account to your privacy to where you can see other people's user-created stuff. I was like, all right, cool. The other solution was, sometimes you just have to make a new Roblox account. And I was like, I'm not going to do that.
Because, I love games like that. It's like, hey, I can't get on Fortnite. I don't know. You're just going to have to make a new gamer tag.
I guess you're just going to throw away all your skins and cosmetics you've spent real money on. I'm like, no way. So that was the thing. So I've not played that. It can be the coolest game in the world, but it's in Roblox, which already was a mark against it. I was like, I'll play this because it's Sonic. And then when I went through the difficulty of going to download Roblox, going to log into Roblox, making an account so I could get onto the Roblox servers, and then you have to play, check this out, you have to play 5 games before you can actually search.
What?
You have to go into Roblox and you have to play 5 featured games, which means you have to load into them, put them on your account, and then quit out on 5 games, and then it goes, oh, congratulations.
So I have to go ahead and play Fart Battler and shit?
You have to Sonic? You have to go do all those things and do 5 of those. I went through all of that to get to where I could unlock the search thing, because they have it all locked down, and they're like, you should try some of these that we recommend before you do that. And you're like, all right. So I did that, and then I got away to the whole thing, and then it was like, you can't do that. And I was like, what? They're like, this game is not here right now in the code, whatever. And so basically they were just like, yeah, I guess you need to make another account to play it. And I was like, I love Sonic. I love Sonic.
You make a new account, play 5 more games.
Yeah,
No, absolutely
I
not.
love, just for a chance for it to work. I love Sonic so much. Yeah. I do. I love Sonic so much. I love that series a lot.
Also, the fact that they have the balls to call that a solution, wow.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not doing that, because as I said, there is a bundle of coins that was either $250 or $300. I don't remember the exact number because I was frustrated, but that was insane. And I was like, no,
well, I think there's been a few news stories that have come out over the years of like kids like getting their parents' credit cards and like racking up like $9,000 in Roblox.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just like, what would you need to buy, kid, that you would need so many Robux? Like, what are you trying to get?
Hey, Joe, remember when I told you that when it was time, I need you to join the madness?
Sure.
I need you to join the madness. So, the new Sonic movie has passed $235 million. You can't see this, but for those at home, the little Sonic and Tails are green screen. They're chroma keyed in to where Tails is under me, Sonic is under you, and they're doing that dance. So now we are doing that dance. Thank you.
There's a really cool dance scene in the new movie.
I'm sure. I don't want to hear about it. I just have to make it until May, and then I can watch it on streaming and not have to go into a movie theater. I will say though, they now have a poster you can get now that is a super cool poster of Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles and the egg robot, and it looks super dope. And you can only get it.
I don't know where you have to go to get it.
You go watch the movie. It's like,
I'm saying, like, is it like a certain theater, or like you just gotta prove you went to watch the movie?
I think you go to I think they just send them out to all the theaters like they used to do with like the Broly posters and stuff.
Sure.
But like, it's a super cool looking poster that I'm sure will cost a lot of money, even though you could just take that image and print it out yourself. Which I might do at some point, because I want it larger, because those things are always like this big, and I want it like, put it in a big one.
You want it to cover up the entire wall.
Yeah, I want it.
This is my new background.
I want my poster to be a good one. So I'm gonna
leave a poster.
I'm gonna leave them up for all of the Sonic news. So there's a lot of Sonic news.
Sure.
They're so cute. I forget who the artist was, but they put that out for everybody to take. They literally like put it in with like pink chroma key, because Sonic's eyes are green, and you would just lose his eyes if you did that. So thank you to them.
That would look like a nightmare.
It's on my Twitter. I think it's on the still standing Twitter. I commented on them. It was like, thank you for this blessing. This is incredible. I love this so much. So it's great.
I'm hoping in Sonic 3 we get Metal Sonic. Fingers crossed.
Sure.
Also that there's a Sonic 3.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say there's probably gonna be a Sonic 3 because, boy, this has been doing gangbusters. So
I wonder if they'll try to get Jim Carrey back since he's retired.
I feel like there is going to be a very large pile of money they will hand to him. And I know that he says he has enough, but this is also like the best performing movie that he's ever been in. So it's like,
but it's also one of those things, like, there are other villains in Sonic.
No, absolutely,
could use other people.
Totally. And they've said that if he doesn't agree to come back, they will do that. But I'm also saying that what I've seen so far, he does a wonderful job. And
what if they'll try to make the grandpa like more of a character than they did in, like, was it Sonic Adventure 2?
Yeah. But Gerald Robotnik. But there's also like so many other characters. Give me Chaos. They already have like the echidnas trying to kill you in the first movie. So like, give me, and I'm going to assume because Knuckles is in it, you probably see more echidnas, or at least the Master Emerald Angel Island area, probably. I don't want to know, la. But anyway, I just assume that's a thing.
I will spoil everything for you.
Don't do that. But I just assume that's a thing because it's Knuckles, and that's kind of his whole thing, right? So I don't expect to see Julie Sue. I don't even think you know who that is, but that's okay.
Nope, no idea.
I had a crush on her. They drew the Echidna babes in the Sonic comics like Rouge the Bat. It was nuts. You're like, oh my god, that's who Knuckles married in the future? Good on you, dude. Anyway.
That was Lola Bunny was not your sexual awakening. It was Rouge the Bat.
That's yeah. You know, you can wake up more than once, sir. We all dream a little dream. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, different levels, I guess.
Anyway. No, I will not wear a fursuit. Yes, if Rouge the Bat was real, I would say hi to her.
Yeah.
Sonic Origins got announced.
I don't know what that is.
Did you not see all the trailers I sent you?
No. I have not looked at.
Then I'm never sending you news again, and I'm only going to tell you about it from now on. I sent you a lot of stuff for you to watch and said, hey,
I watched some YouTube videos, but I didn't even see a Sonic Origins one.
I said, hey, I need you to watch this stuff for the podcast today. And I sent you a Tiny Tina trailer. I sent you a WoW expansion announcement trailer cinematic.
Okay, I watched that.
Did you watch the Tiny Tina's DLC trailer?
No.
And then there was a Sonic trailer.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then I'll just break it down. Sonic Origins got announced after being possibly leaked from the Korean board or whatever. It is going to come out on June 23rd. It is going to be $40 or $45 for the deluxe edition, which I will definitely be getting the deluxe edition because it is going to be, according to the rumor, and there are cutscenes in this game that are done by the actual people who did it looks like the people who did the Mania cutscenes and those animatics I was telling you, the animations I was telling you about from their Twitter. That's really awesome. It looks like it is a full remaster of Sonic 1, 2, 3, and Knuckles and CD.
Oh.
It will have where you can play as Tails, Knuckles, and Sonic in all of those games.
That's pretty. Wait, in Sonic 1 and 2 as well?
Well, they were all in 2, but none of them were in 1, but they're all playable in 1.
Was Knuckles in 2?
If you bought the Sonic and Knuckles thing to put it in, you could put Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 in there. But Sonic 1 could not be put in there. Fun fact, because of the color palette and the way that he was done, they couldn't get that to work with him. So in this remaster, Knuckles and Tails are both playable in Sonic 1. I went through that trailer with a fine-tooth comb because I saw Knuckles in the Marble Zone from Sonic 1, and I went, what? And then I saw Tails in the Labyrinth Zone from Sonic 1, and I again went, what? So apparently, I went down a rabbit hole and found out that
Will there be online co-op?
I don't know, but
that's always the important thing for me.
In 2013, there was an iOS and Android remaster of Sonic 1. Apparently, that was when they redesigned the levels for Tails and Knuckles variants of Sonic 1. So that was a phone feature before it was ever a console feature. But those will all be playable in those games, and that sounds amazing. So I'm excited about that. There will be 2 versions of the game, Classic Mode and Anniversary Mode. Classic Mode will be square aspect ratio.
Sure.
Anniversary will be where they've redone the entire game to fit on an actual modern TV. So you can do letterbox or no letterbox. Yes. Also, Anniversary Mode will have unlimited lives. So you can enjoy the
Classic
game.
Mode, you'll have the whatever lives you gather. I think you start out with 3?
Yeah. So that's exciting. And then there will be a content vault, and as you play the game, you will unlock medals. And as you unlock medals, you'll be able to unlock concept art, new things, new other things in this vault. So I don't know what all that entails, but that is a thing they've mentioned. If you pre-order the game, you get 100 medals from the start, and you unlock mirror mode, and it was mirror mode and the Mega Drive letterbox pattern, so you can have it look like the Mega Drive on the sides.
No.
Which is that's a neat little thing that you don't have to have, but it is neat. But you unlock mirror mode from the start if you pre-order and those things. It will be $40 for the default version, or for $5 more, you can get the deluxe edition, which comes with special hard mode missions they have made, a new letterbox mode. There will be character islands, and on the character islands, you will be able to have camera options. If you have the deluxe edition, you can move the camera around to the character islands. Also, there will be character animations during the musical jukebox islands, and also there will be a Mega Drive exclusive tracks for the deluxe edition.
Yeah.
For $45.
Someone who never had a Mega Drive.
I mean, if you had a Genesis, it's the same thing, but it's just...
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's super cool. That's coming out on June 23rd, which is that's Sonic's birthday.
Yeah, I never actually played the Sonic CD until it got put on like the Xbox Live Arcade.
Sure.
I never had a Sega CD.
I think that to this day, I think my 360 profile picture is still Metal Sonic from the CD cover, because they had like a CD avatar pack they sold, and one of them was like Sonic facing this way, Metal facing that way, and I was like, I want that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, I'd always seen like the animations and stuff. I'd always thought Metal Sonic was cool, and of course he'd been in other games. And,
So, the way that they're apparently going to be doing this, according to rumor, is that it is going to be a retelling of the first games with cutscenes that explain more of the story and set the timeline up. So you're going to be playing through those games, but as you're going to be playing them, there will be cutscenes.
You'll know more about what's happening.
Yeah,
not just
correct.
Like, hey,
and that's why
all
all these characters will be here in all the games, is supposedly because you're playing Sonic 1 and there will be an intro as to that, and then as you're playing through them, so Sonic 1, 2, and 3 will be chronological and then CD, and like there will actually be cutscenes that explain the story as you go, which sounds... Oh, my God, it sounds good. I'm very excited about that. Very excited. That sounds incredible. I love that idea. Thank you so much. That's just, God, that's exciting. I mean, it's exciting to see remasters of those games that have been released ad nauseum. It's fine. But also, like, it's very exciting for that. Yeah, I literally went full Pepe Sylvia mode looking at all those screens. Like, I was pausing, going like, why is he in the labyrinth zone? Why is he in the marble zone? Tails is riding down a water slide that he shouldn't be in. Like,
should have recorded like a trailer breakdown, like, oh, the 101 Easter eggs you missed in the new Sonic Origins trailer.
God, yeah, probably. I probably could have done that and got a lot of views, but I didn't, because I was too busy going, oh my God. And then writing this down. Look, okay, so this is how my handwriting normally looks. It's like actual, like, legible handwriting. This is what it turned into. Look how big I wrote when I was writing this. Yeah. I was literally just like, Knuckles Marble Zone, Tails Labyrinth Zone, Sonic 1, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, 4 question marks. And then I had to go look it up and like found out that whatever. So
turns out that they exist in that game now for some reason.
Turns out they exist in that game because the palette got updated. Remember, Sonic 1 had a different palette from Sonic 2 and 3. So
no, I'm just wondering if like they're gonna try and like explain like why Knuckles and Tails are in Sonic 1.
You should go watch the trailer. It's super cool. Not right now, but you can watch it later.
Yeah, I do know why I haven't watched the trailers, because you had sent me like a big dump of stuff and then some other stuff after that. So when I woke up in a daze this morning, I only saw the most recent stuff and didn't scroll up.
Well, the most recent thing was the Sonic thing.
No, because you sent me some stuff about Fortnite.
Oh, so that was the second. Yeah. That was the second one. Okay, yeah. So I sent you a Fortnite thing because they're doing like a challenge in Fortnite right now that's like, do these daily missions and you can get some free cosmetics. And I was like, okay, well, I'll share people who I play Fortnite with about that. But right above that is the Sonic trailer, and then it's the WoW trailer, and then it's the Tiny Tina trailer.
The WoW trailer I watched yesterday.
We're not going to talk about that yet. We're not going to talk about that yet. That's a whole page of news we're going to talk about. We'll break that down. Tiny Tina, though, we can talk about that. Have you seen that trailer yet?
No, I have not.
Okay. Well, apparently
I know it's because I've read about the DLC where you're like, this lady's got like different mirror verses or whatever you're going through.
It's out tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Yes. Or as of timing of this, it's out today if you're listening to the podcast.
Damn.
It is going to not be the way we're used to being. It's going to be the way they used to do those challenge packs back in the day. Remember, I think it was Borderlands 2 had like the weird challenge packs where you had to like fight like new raid bosses and that was it.
Yeah.
It is called
like their own separate zone, and then you'd have to go in and fight the thing.
It is called the Coiled Captors, which has to be a reference to card captors. Like there's nothing else it could be a reference to. I'm gonna take Sonic and Tails. You've boogied down, bros. Y'all boogie on out of here.
Or it's just the weird coiled people are trying to capture you.
I mean, probably, but also like it just feels like everything else is making memes, so it feels like it would be like a it feels to me like a card captors reference, but maybe I'm wrong. But apparently, it is not going to be some huge thing. It is going to be one new zone, just like the other side quests all have their own zone, and it is going to be a replayable gauntlet-like dungeon. Is it going
to be top down?
No, it's gonna be, but like you run through the dungeons and you shoot stuff.
Yeah,
but yeah.
I'm just saying that'd be kind of funny. It's like
no, I referred to it as a gauntlet, like as in like you're running the gauntlet, whatever.
Oh, I got you.
Like
I thought you were talking about like gauntlet in a video game.
No, I'm just trying not to reference the thing at the end of the game, but
Oh, that's fair.
But. Sure. Yeah, but it is apparently not going to be super massive. It is going to be a run-based thing, and apparently it's going to be the Mirrors of Mystery is what all the DLC for this game is going to be. The trailer has a anime soundtrack intro, which is another reason I think it's card captors. It literally has an anime intro song. Sure. It literally sounds like the intro song for like Sword Art Online or something. It's like a punk anime soundtrack. It's very good. But it is going to be roguelike runs. If you die to the boss, you have to start the entire thing over, the entire dungeon. You will have a mirror world you can go to that's a place you can visit right outside of Brighthoof. You have to be level 13 to go there, which is not very hard to do in that game. And apparently the final boss is a giant killer street shark named Chums.
Dope.
He will be on a 4-week rotation of difficulties. So if you beat him week 1, he's at his lowest difficulty. The next week he scales up. The next week he scales up. The next week he scales up. Then he reverts back down to weak. And he scales up. For that entire week, he's that hard. I don't know why they didn't just make it where you could just choose what difficulty you wanted to do it on, but they had to do some
I don't
weird,
know. Maybe they're like, hey, Destiny
thing.
does rotation, so why don't we?
Yeah, but Destiny rotates the locations and gives you the difficulties. They don't rotate the difficulty. It's weird. Anyway, but apparently
they took the wrong lesson. I don't know.
Yes, but apparently they've announced the rest of the things that'll be in the Mirrors of Mystery. That's the season pass, which they're all going to be these little short things, which is designed around replayability, but also like.
Yeah, which makes me wonder if it's worth like the $30 price tag.
Yeah, I'm not really as excited about it now, knowing that it's just going to be like one little quest chain that like is just like a thing that then just gives you a replayable
that Street Shark dungeon better be fucking dope if I'm going to be paying for it.
Yeah, because it is going to be the Street Shark dungeon. It's going to be the Coiled Captors is the first one, and the other ones are called Glutton's Castle, Molten Mirrors, and Shattered Spectre Glass. They are all going to be the same type of thing where it's a run-based thing. And if once you beat it the first time, they'll all have the rotations of things and whatever. Once you beat it for the first time, you then unlock those enemies can show up in your thing at the end of the game.
That's cool.
That is neat, but also that was not a meaty enough thing for me to want to stick around. Like the moment I did that, I was like, it's whatever, man, it's fine.
I mean, you're not wrong. I don't think we've really talked about in-game stuff for that right now because we're kind of making sure people have time to play it so they don't scream at us.
Correct. It's just it just was not it's a cool idea. It's a very cool thing if you and your friends are just into just like doing a thing for the sake of doing it and not caring why you're doing it. But like it was not a thing that was enough to make me go, oh yeah, I want to play more. Like the moment we got done, I uninstalled it. And
we're just like, all right, okay.
Yeah, the gameplay in that is the best it's ever played. The story is it was better than the Borderlands 3 story, but not as good as 2's.
But yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like we kind of needed a bit more motivation than grinding for weapons and shields because I know that's always been a big focus for Borderlands, but it's never been a big focus for me.
Correct. It's always been like I will not go fight the same boss 4,000 times for a shield that has the stats I want. That is not my thing. I want to be able to play fun, repeatable stuff with my friends and level up characters, and that's fine. But
I mean, that's the thing that stalled me out on Destiny a lot of the time. It's just like, hey, you want this? You got to go do the same thing over and over and over again until you get it. I'm like,
so like, but
no,
the thing about Destiny stuff is that I find that satisfying to replay that content. I don't find that way in, because there's a variety to there's so many different things you can do in Destiny. If you don't want to run strikes, you can go do something
fine
else.
until run 10. No, because with their weapon system, there's still all the shit you got to go and just grind for until you get the red outlined thing, and then you need 4 of those.
I mean, so yeah, but there's also stuff in the seasons for that actually help alleviate that pain, where it's like, oh, your first thing every week or your first thing every day will be guaranteed that it's a red weapon, so go make sure you pick the one you want and stuff like that. It's still way less of a grind than this. But the thing about Destiny is like the story and the grind are the two aspects of it, and this right here doesn't have the story to back it up. So
well, getting a little bit of the weeds, but Tiny Tina DLC is it's cool that it's coming out so soon after the game.
It is cool, but it's also like, I don't know. I don't think I want to. Yeah. I don't think I want to spend the money. There's enough other stuff I'll be playing right now that I don't think I want to go back to that. Yeah.
I don't know how much it'll cost individually compared to the season pass.
Right. I'm far more interested in the idea of purchasing the WWE character packs than I am the Tiny Tina thing. And we'll get into that. That's its own page too. It's fine. Microsoft is looking into ways of adding ads to free-to-play games. I have no issue with this. I don't understand why people are bitching about this. If you've played, what was it? Like, was it Burnout Paradise had the Obama ads for his election thing? I remember the campaign ads in Burnout Paradise?
But that, it had billboards and stuff that you could...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, totally. But, like, they're talking about doing it in ways that make sense. They're not talking about doing it like Smite does, where you can, like, watch... And here's the thing. They're optional in Smite, too. But Smite has, like, actual, like, YouTube ads you can run to get, like, free currency in-game. But you, like, click on a thing, and it's like, watch an ad, get some rewards. You're like, okay, thank you, I'll do that. And then you get rewards for that. But this is like, they're talking about finding ways to do that. As long as it's not something
that literally interrupts the game to show me an ad.
No, they literally mention passive ads. They do not mention anything that would disrupt.
I think the only thing about that is, and this is just me being, as cynical as I've always been, and unfortunately I'm right a lot of the time. This is a stepping stone to getting to the ads that interrupt your game.
So the thing that I think about is we've had passive ads in games for a long time. It's just now they're trying to figure out ways to help free-to-play games make more money.
Yeah. Well, we've also had the super intrusive ads where it's just like, I think Alan Wake was a big one, where it was just like, oh man, I need to get this Energizer flashlight.
So like in Final Fantasy 15, you use a Coleman lantern. You use a Coleman camping set. And then there's the meme about the cup noodles in that. One of the characters loves cup noodles, constantly talking about eating cup noodles. And you get a cup noodles helmet, right? Like that was like a DLC. Like that kind of stuff is passive. It's not like stopping the game where it's like, and we're going to pause right here for this commercial break during FIFA 2029, brought to you by Sketchbag or Us. Yeah, it's not like that.
I think they did that in one of the basketball games.
They did. And people were like, don't ever do that again. So that's a thing. But also, I don't remember if it was Infamous or Prototype, but one of those games had a thing where it was like Subway was in that all over that town. You could find like Subways all over the town. I think it was Infamous.
Prototype, I think.
Was it Prototype? It was one of those two. I wrote down both of them because I don't remember which one it was.
To be honest, those games kind of run together for me.
Correct. Yes, me too. They're basically the same thing, but one is a Biohazard and one of them's Lightning Man.
Yeah. But to be
fair, they're both fun games.
We've got a Prototype remaster-ish type game. Give me my Infamous remasters. I'll play those again.
Just give me Second Son again. That game was great.
I think it was probably the third best out of the three.
I think the first one is the most interesting story, but the least good playing one. The second one, they hit their stride. The third one, they started introducing new crazy powers because you weren't just playing as Cole, you were playing as someone else who had crazier powers than Cole. And so I thought that one played the best. But like the story with like your weird Elvis stand-in friend with the glasses was like really good. That story was good, and explaining what happened to Cole and that whole thing was interesting. But that game felt very jank compared to the second one, where like everything was improved 5,000,000%.
But that's what you want from a sequel. So
no, absolutely. That's why I'm saying I don't want to go back to the first one. If you do that, upgrade the gameplay like they've done with other remasters, where they're like, we've got to fix the gameplay. This shit feels like garbage. No More Heroes 3, which was a Switch exclusive, is being brought to literally everything else other than the Switch because it runs like crap on the Switch.
Yeah. People are like, hey, can I see what a frame rate's like in this game, please?
People are like, man, this game would be super awesome because we love these games, but they only put them on Nintendo consoles because I guess Nintendo gives them the money and then they can never get a frame rate above 5.
Yeah, well, and also No More Heroes is hard because, the art style and particle effects and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, but also, like, it's all cel-shaded, so you would think it would actually be easier to run on the Switch, but then the particle effects, I guess, are what's canceling it out. I don't know, but like it's all that masturbation, all the masturbation animations.
Stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. So that's supposed to be coming out there. I don't think they've mentioned a date, but that's supposed to be coming to PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Kojima Productions will remain independent despite the entire internet trying to Pepe Sylvia due to PlayStation updating their website.
Sure.
PlayStation updated the border on their website, the banner on the top of their website, to show all of their big flagship games. And we all know that they technically own Death Stranding. It even says it on the PC. It says it everywhere, whatever. So when the new director's cut came out, they have now, as of it just, it hit Steam or whatever, and they were like, we're going to put it out. We're going to put that on our banner. And so everybody was like, that means that PlayStation's going to buy them. Ooh, ooh, ooh. It's like, no, they own that IP.
It's like saying they're going to buy them because Metal Gear Solid was a PlayStation exclusive for so long.
Yeah, but like, they're basically like, it's going to do that, blah, 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 blah. And then they were like, and then Kojima comes out and says, we're literally making a game for Microsoft as well as of like a week ago, and like, what are you talking about? We're gonna. He's also making TV shows.
We talked about this.
Yeah, and so it's like Kojima Productions will maintain its independence. Thank you very much. And people were like, he said they were going to maintain their independence. That's what Blue Point said in their bio before they got bought by PlayStation when they made the Demon's Souls remaster. So if you see here, this clearly means that he's trying to red flag us.
Yeah, because a game studio can't be bought somewhere down the road because, that's not how that works.
Yeah, but that's basically what they were saying. And I'm just like...
I mean, at any time, it could come out that they are buying them. It doesn't mean that they were buying them in this particular instance.
Correct. Thank you very much. Absolutely. I agree.
It doesn't mean you're right. It does not.
I agree. But that was a thing where he's just like, what are you all talking about? Please stop. I have TV shows to make. Please leave me alone.
Yeah, let me go back to my creation and rock music, please.
I'm going to go watch Morbius by myself in a movie theater because no one else wants to watch it and feel like a rock star. Like, you do you, buddy. You do you. Just give me another Death Stranding or Metal Gear. I'll take either one.
I think it's funny that he's a weird Morbius stan. It's like, all right, bud.
He's just like a weird cinema file, dude. He's just like one of those people who just loves movies and loves actors and loves directors.
Yeah, maybe he's just like super supportive of Jared Leto. And he's just trying to.
Who knows? I don't know.
Maybe they're friends.
Is Mads Mikkelsen in that movie? He seems to be buddies with him. So
no, he's not.
Well, he's in the new Harry Potter, so there you go. Which apparently is not good, from what I've heard. I heard that everything but the last 30 minutes of that movie is the most boring, stupid stuff you've ever seen, and then it gets really good at the end. And it's like, man, that's like with video games. You can tell me it gets really good about 30 hours in. No. You have a little bit, you have like an hour after the tutorial for me to get a feel for it. And if I'm not feeling it by then, if I play the tutorial and they're like, all right, because like tutorials are very stilted, right? A lot of them are very like, we're going to freeze you in the air. Hit this button, or like, it'll be like, you need to hit this to get through here. So it's very much like not the flow of the game. So I'll wait until the tutorial's over and then get a feel for it and then go from there. So if I have to that point in time and I still am not enjoying your game, I'm out. And yeah, that's so.
I tried. You could have had me. You didn't get me.
Yeah, you could have had me, but you don't get this. You don't get this. One day you get out, you get this.
Yeah, and that's what the 30-hour game they're talking about is. One day you got it.
Yeah, correct. So I'm not watching a 3-hour movie to get to the last 20 minutes and it'd be good. I'll just watch it on YouTube someday. It's fine. That'll be the scene where someone will make like a weird fan cam of all the scenes Mads Mikkelsen's in, where it's just like him going.
Yeah,
it's like
it'll probably come out on HBO Max at some point. Just like
I know, but I'm just saying, like the people are like they're like it's a fan cam. I'm like that's not a fan cam. It's just like a weird thing where you just cut all their pictures out like a psychopath. You just took all the footage of them and put it all back to back. You're like, this is the Mads Mikkelsen fan cam. It's like, no, it's not.
I'll wait for all the wizard fight scene compilations. That's what I want.
Sure. Speaking of that, apparently the Harry
movie.
Potter game is not going to have co-op. It will be a strictly single-player game, so they can focus on it being fun. They're probably more yeah, absolutely, it's fine.
It's a little sad. I would love for that sort of thing to be co-op, but
sure, totally. It seems like the kind of environment that would make for good co-op. Like everybody, because you're all running around in dumb wizard robes, and you could all be in different houses and whatever. But like at the same time, Shadow of War was a great game. So like I'm hoping that based off that same standard, you can do fun stuff with fun, crazy environments.
And not shitty microtransactions.
Please don't do J.K. Rowling stuff, though. Yeah, it's always going to be the elephant in the room anytime we talk about the game. I'm sorry, it just has to happen. Yep. Cyberpunk has sold 18 million copies. That is incredible. Good on them. I'm glad they're recovering. The Witcher series has sold 65 million copies, and 40 million of those are from The Witcher 3.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
That doesn't me either, because I played The Witcher 1 and 2, and The Witcher 2 is really good. The Witcher 1 is very obtuse, but it's very good. It's a good story, but the combat is rough.
It is a product of its time.
Yes. It was literally hit like the different numbers to make him swap stances and then just auto attack like KOTOR, and it did not feel good. But that was a thing, and then it says that the
first time I ever saw Witcher 1, I saw it and the entire manual was in Polish, and I was like, I don't know what to do.
So when I was a manager at GameStop, I bought a copy of The Witcher 1, and it was in Italian. It did not have an English, the version that they shipped us did not have an English dub or a sub. It was all in Italian. It was not even in Polish. It was all in Italian. So I could not play that game. I literally had to bring it back, which you know this about computer games. When you bring them, you can't bring them back, because once you've opened them, you could have just installed the disc and ripped it and whatever.
And they will not take it back.
So I took it back, and if I hadn't been a manager at that store, they would not have taken it back. But they were like, okay, well, you don't make enough money to buy these other games that are coming out, so we should probably do you right by this, because you're gonna you're the one who needs to play these games and talk about them anyway. So anyway, so The Witcher 3, the next gen update for that, has been brought in-house. And people were saying that it's supposed to be in development hell because it was brought from another thing, and now it's supposed to be whatever. And then they came out and said it is not in development hell. It should be, and it's not supposed to come out next year. You guys are just blowing things out of proportion. It'll be out when it's out, but it's not supposed to be like next summer.
Yeah. You'd think people would have learned their lesson by now to shut up and just let them make the game.
Yes,
but they don't.
Because then if you do that, then they start freaking out, and they're like, oh, we gotta send it out. They're gonna freak out, and then it's not done right.
It's broken.
Yeah.
Like, God damn it.
Yeah,
learn.
You should have learned from Cyberpunk that it turns out if they take their time and put out updates, it becomes a good game. And that last update basically turned it into the game it should have been. So.
Well, the problem they ran into with Cyberpunk is they gave it a release date in the first place.
Yes, the other problem is that...
And then when they kept pushing it back and pushing it back and pushing it back...
The other problem is that what was promised was not quite as ambitious as what we got, and then it's a little more ambitious now with what we've got. Some of the stuff they've added in this new update is a little more ambitious, and they're supposed to be adding even more. There's several expansions on the way, and as far as I know, the online co-op expansion of that is supposed to still be in the works, which
that's what I really
want.
Fun. That's what I want so much.
I want another GTA Online, but in Night City. Absolutely, so much, because I could just imagine us doing like heists in that game where we're doing missions and stuff, or like we're doing like replayable content where it's like, oh, we gotta go over here and sneak in here. So it's like one of us has like the garrote arm with like the little weird arm thing, and the other person's just sneaking around with the giant katana. Or like I'm sneaking to take out the guard, and then you kick the door in like and shoot arms. Yeah. So you literally rip the door off its hinges, throw it at a guy, and then clap their heads together until it splatters.
Pull out an LMG. You're like, Correct. I thought we were doing stealthy. Nah, I got bored.
And I'm like, you took too long. Yeah. So that's what I really want from that game, if I'm being honest. So we talked about Kingdom Hearts stuff last week, right?
Yeah.
Well, apparently they've announced I'm just going to say this. And there's a part of me that wants this really bad, and there's part of me that wants nothing to do with this and to run away and to curse it. Limited edition Kingdom Hearts Tamagotchi.
I saw those. I had the same thing where I'm like, kind of want one.
Because I saw Sora, Kairi, Riku, and then adorable chibi Donald and Goofy. And I was like, if I could have a Goofy Tamagotchi, I could have that. I feel like owning a Kyrie sounds really, really creepy in like like context, even bit, in context. But saying like, "It's my little Goofy," like I'm like, "Gosh," yeah, like that sounds way cooler to me. Also, way more kosher if I'm being honest. Again, yeah, like man, golly bum.
It feels better like saying I own a Disney character Tamagotchi
it's like,
than I own a woman or a boy.
Yeah, I've got the small boy I keep in my pocket that I feed. Like,
no, you're sending all the red flags up, and I don't like it.
2319, we got 2319. Correct. Jeff Grubb from the internet at large, both Jabomb and GamesBeat. Rumor that the new Need for Speed will be photorealistic with anime After Effects, like new car commercials where you see like it looks like that and then it has like the lines and stuff, right? So
yeah, this kind of sounds like the Blur game that came out for the arcade like a long time ago.
The rumor is, according to one Jeff Grubb, is that auto log and car modding will be back because they took out any car customization other than like changing the color and like all the games, and everybody went, I'm not fucking playing this game. The auto log,
because they were like, hey, it's open world and you can make a car how you want as long as you don't want to make it look different.
Correct. So auto log and car modding, and also that it will be in a fantasy version of Chicago called Lakeshore City.
Could have sworn that's been in a game before, but
probably it was probably Burnout Paradise for all I know. Whatever, man. Apparently,
still think my favorite Need for Speed City was in Carbon because that was basically Japan. It was all about drifting.
Sure. I liked Auto Modalista, but apparently as I grew up, everybody thinks that game is garbage but me. But they're allowed to be wrong. I thought the game was fun.
Sure.
I played the first Midnight Club for so long, and I was never able to beat the first race as a kid. I literally could not beat
figure it out.
Could not beat the race where you're trying to beat the guy. You're in a taxi cab. I could not win that race, so I would just free roam around the city and never race because I couldn't do anything. So I never unlocked any other cars. I just drove the taxi cab everywhere. I would just drive up to people and be like, would you like to go somewhere, man? We're going over here, boop, boop. And it was like completely like, good thing I was a kid because I broke that disc in half.
You'd have been pissed.
So apparently, Pedro Pascal avoided The Last of Us, any interactions of that game in depth, because he did not want to mimic the performance, even though they're doing the same story. He did not want to mimic the performance from the game, which sounds to me, and I'm gonna be honest, I like Pedro Pascal and I like The Last of Us. That sounds to me like the same problem this fucking Halo show is having, where everyone fucking hates it because they're like, oh, we can't do the same thing people will know we're gonna do. And then it becomes this thing where apparently Cortana's the only person wearing clothes because everybody else is butt naked in the whole show. And that's all anybody talks about because the story sucks and it's all non-canon. And everybody's just like, oh, apparently Cortana can't have that. She doesn't have genitals. She's a fucking AI. And they're like, put clothes on her, make her human color. And you're like, she could be blue and naked, it's fine, put her in the skin suit. It makes no difference. They're like, no, she has to put clothes on, but the real people can all be butt naked with Master Chief with his big Humpty Dumpty hanging out. It's all great. Everybody else is getting naked too. It's a party in the USA.
I want to think that Pedro Pascal is being, very much an actor about it all, where he's just like, I want this performance to be my performance and not colored by someone else's performance.
I mean, sure, but he also said that he watched his nephew play it for 2 hours and then was like, okay, I'm leaving. I don't want to watch any more of this, and then was like, that's it. Yeah. But then the shots from the freaking show that people have seen are literally, that scene in the Last of Us 1 where you smash the truck into the convenience store and then the dude's outside with the shotgun and you and Ellie are hiding behind the truck and you have to fight your way out whenever the trap gets sprung on you.
Yeah.
That's literally the scene in the stills that they've released so far, is that scene. So if you're going to do that much of the show and the story of The Last of Us, just fucking do the character. Like, I'm so sick of everybody being like, at least the Sonic movies are like actually doing like interesting stuff with the way they're doing things. But everybody else is like, we just don't want to make it canon. We just want to make it non-canon. We want to do our own thing, do the same thing over again. But we don't do the same thing over again because people are going to know what we're going to do. They won't watch it. They'll be like, I've already seen that. So we're going to make it non-canon.
Sonic is a whole other canon.
It is, but at least it's doing something that is its own thing, and it's doing something interesting. Like, they're just like with The Last of Us and with Halo, they're like, it's not canon, it doesn't matter, and you're like, okay, it doesn't matter.
Halo especially has that's diverged from what you think the story is supposed to be. That's a whole other planet at this point.
That's what I'm saying, is they literally are not even following the same fucking, the Lego pieces are painted different colors at this point. It's so different. And nobody likes it because you could have had a show that was designed for
I've only ever seen the first episode. I wasn't impressed by it.
You could have had, everybody talks about it on their podcast every week because as it comes out, they all watch the episodes and they go, literally nothing happened, but someone else got naked. That's every week, is just Cortana's wearing clothes, everyone else gets naked. I thought you're supposed to be fighting aliens. No, we're all getting naked. So apparently the response is that Halo Infinite does not have content. People are mad because all the content keeps getting delayed. Season 2 took 6 months to come out, right?
Sure. And
now they have this show that should have been a thing that drew in and hyped up people who were really excited about the game, but they're like, it's non-canon. It's all a completely different thing. We want to appeal to a broad audience instead of appealing to a passionate audience. Always appeal to passion, never appeal to dead fish. It never works out. It never works out. It never works out. With the Sonic movie, they literally heard the Sonic fans. They said, okay, we've got to redo this because the Sonic fans are literally trying to throw deviant art at us. Please, our shields can't contain deviant art. Please, we've got to fix this. They fixed it. It is now the best performing video game thing. As far as like movie media goes, they've definitely learned, and they've did good off of the thing of actually trying to focus on getting the passionate fans to watch it. There's people going to watch this movie like 30 times, but then the Halo thing is like, we want to appeal to a broader audience. We don't just want to appeal to people who watch the show, even though we do books that appeal to people who played the games. So we want to do this, and then they're like, okay, and then it just becomes this like thing where everybody's just like, and nothing fucking happened. But it's not like Seinfeld where at least it's funny. It's just nothing fucking happened.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying with the Halo series. I mean, again, The Last of Us, I don't care if the person has played a game or whatever. I would like for them to have an idea of what it's supposed to be about.
Yes, because if
it's going to be a TV series, they can put their own spin on the performance and not.
Yes, absolutely.
And it does one of those things where watching someone else having done it, it may inform how you do it as an actor. I'm not an actor. I don't know how that mentality works, but maybe that's a thing he's worried about.
Okay, but
he wants his Joel to be his Joel.
Okay,
he wants Troy Baker's Joel to be Troy Baker's Joel.
But that's when you're following the same story. It's Joel.
It can be the same story, but not necessarily the same everything.
Okay, yes, but here's
they might have beats that are the same.
Sure.
Doesn't mean the whole game's going to be shot for shot.
Sure. I mean, obviously, because it's like a 50-hour fucking game. But here's the thing to me is like, okay, if you're doing Romeo and Juliet, if someone's playing Romeo, you may not deliver the lines exactly the way that Patrick Stewart or somebody else did. But like, you're going to do it your way. But you're still going to do the same fucking thing. Like, you still are going to put your own inflection on it, even if you're the understudy or whatever. So, like, watching and learning and being informed about the source material can help you, like, knowing, like, you're not, maybe you don't want to be like, well, Ellie, I'm saying we got to make a thing over here. You don't have to talk like that. That's not a thing you have to do. But you should know what Joel has gone through and the desperation of the trials and tribulations of the guy. You shouldn't look at it for 30 minutes.
He's getting that from the script that he's reading. He doesn't have to play the game for it.
Sure. But it's just that's look, I don't even like The Last of Us that much. It's just crazy to me because I will not watch the show. I get it. I'm not going to watch the show because I don't watch TV. I watch stuff when I go to sleep. But the thing that kills me about the whole thing is when someone is actively running from the source material because they're like, I am actor. That shit drives me nuts. It's like, no, fucking learn about the material. Do the damn job. If you're playing Joel, you're playing Joel. If you're playing Romeo, you're playing Romeo. If you're playing Mario, don't be Chris Pratt.
Well, again, I'm sure he is learning about the character. as a TV series and from like the stuff he's being informed about for this particular thing. He doesn't have to play the games to be informed about the character that's in the TV series. He has a script and producers and writers and all these other people giving him the ideas. So because, and again, and off the one scene and stills we've seen, it's a part of the game. Doesn't mean everything else is going to be that way.
The last time somebody said that they like, I don't know, I had like my assistant play it for me and tell me what happened, was the Max Payne movie. And we all know how that turned out.
I'm aware. I'm aware it doesn't, to be honest, a lot of video games, even if people, okay, look, you want to know why, one of the big reasons why I don't care? Paul W.S. Anderson loves Monster Hunter. He literally went to Capcom and they were literally like a huge part of like the monster designs and the movie. That movie fucking sucks. It's terrible.
I still
the monsters look cool, but the movie is atrocious.
Right.
So if you want to sit there and tell me the source material is what makes it better, it isn't.
No, I'm just saying like the fact that if you are supposed to be playing this character, you should know who that character is. You don't have to do the same performance as Troy Baker, but you should at least know who he is. And that's the thing. If you're going to watch,
passion for the source material doesn't necessarily inform how good your product is going to be.
No, because there's so many other gears that are spinning. But I'm saying if you are playing Joel, I'm talking about Joel in particular. If they're doing that down to that point, you're almost doing yourself a disservice by, if you're going to go by that thing of, oh, the assistants could tell him, oh, the actor, oh, the producers, oh, the directors, whatever, can all tell him what to do. If you're going to go to that point, you might as well just not even watch any of it, because you're doing just enough to fuck over the way you're thinking about it. So you'd be better off just going la 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 and completely ignoring it, rather than watching like an hour of a half of it and going, I'm good. Like, that just seems like some weird mixed signal. You're like, I want to know about it, but I don't want to know about it. It's like, I want to see who he is. I want to know who he is. I don't want to know who he is because I don't want to be him. I want to be my version of him. It's like, fucking whatever. Again, I'm not going to watch it anyway. It just seems like this weird fucking hodgepodge thing that makes no sense. It's like, oh, you want to be the character, but you don't want to be the character. That doesn't make any sense. I don't get that.
Yeah. No, I'm going to watch it. Just like I've watched every other video game thing that's basically come out at this point. I've seen at least the one episode of Halo. It's not good enough right now for me to carve out the time to watch the rest of the episodes.
Apparently, it's 4 hours in, so it's 4 hours in, and no one.
I'll probably watch the Knuckles TV show when it comes out. Who knows? Mm-hmm. Whenever that happens. Because I thought it was supposed to be like before the movie, but I guess not.
So I want to watch that Knuckles show, and I'm hoping that it is run by the people who run the movies and not the people who are doing the Halo show, because they're going to tear Knuckles' fur off and make his butt show, and it's going to be a boring show.
I mean, technically they're all naked either way, but you know.
You get what I'm saying. You're going to see four-headed dick is what I'm saying, okay?
God, I hope not. I don't need that. I've seen enough Rule 34 to know I don't want to.
Anyway, carry on. What were you going to say?
But I'm saying it's like I'm going to at least give it a shot. But it's like you talked about, you know, way earlier in the episode. If you don't get me in a good enough amount of time, I'm not going to waste my time continuing to watch your thing. I've said that about a lot of the big animes that have come out. Like Attack on Titan was huge for me, where people were like, "You have to watch it. You have to watch it. You have to watch it." I watched 5 episodes. It was an absolute fucking snooze fest.
Sure.
And I don't want to watch any more of it because I've given it like fucking 3 hours.
I get it.
Yeah, you had me. I gave you a shot. You missed it.
I get it. I feel like that show is just anxiety. The show. And like
I felt nothing but boredom with that show.
I also feel like it is a better show when you are. It may be like the time has passed for that show. I don't know, but when I was watching it, people were very excited about it. We were all discussing it, so we were all kind of, you know, it's almost like NFTs. Like the NFT bros are constantly psyching each other up about it, right?
Yeah.
Like
and I get that. It's just because I was watching it during that period of time. It just was not for me. And everyone's like, "Oh man, what'd you think? Do you like this and that?" I'm like, "I like the girl with the potato. She was funny."
Yeah, Sasha's great. So speaking of weird random shit that we were talking about with movies and stuff, Jason Momoa is supposed to be the lead in a Minecraft movie.
Yeah,
they're going to do a live-action Minecraft movie. I don't know if that means they're going to be on like a cube set or what, but it's going to be a live-action Minecraft movie.
I thought it was going to be animated.
No.
because I saw the headline and I'm like, okay, I guess the more people are voicing video game movies.
What I understand is going to be a live action, so I don't know how that's going to work.
I don't understand.
Is it going to be like? Is it going to be like on a big sound stage and everything? It's just like it's going to be like that weird like Clash of the Titans movie where everything in the entire movie was fake.
Or is it going to be like Space Jam where he gets transported into the Minecraft world?
Man, I don't know. I have no idea. So
because I remember like a decade ago when they were talking about making the Monopoly movie, and everyone's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Mm-hmm.
They're like live action Monopoly, and now we got live action Minecraft. And again, I want to know A, how you're going to make that work in the real world, and B, what is your story here exactly?
Right. We're going to give me one moment. I'm going to stop the recording. And we're going to start it back up. So give me one moment, and we're back. I just wanted to put a break. I just want to put a break in the recording. Carry on with your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm just saying Minecraft movie. A Minecraft animated, I get it. It would probably shape up like the Minecraft story mode Telltale game. It'd probably be a lot like that. But Minecraft live action, no thanks. I'm good. I don't.
Yes.
That'll have to be something really cool for me to go, all right, this works.
Yeah. So
because that is like the epitome of the make your own fun game. It does not really
I have
have
thought about going back to that game just to mess around with it, but I'm also very much still just like, nah.
Like I feel like we could play. It could be about him trying to get to the end and fight the Ender Dragon.
Sure, like we could play like one episode of that and be like, let's see how Minecraft feels. Still Minecraft, and then we end the series. Like, because I've thought about it, and I was like, what would we do? Make a cave house? I always make a hobbit hole. That's what I always do. That's what's fun to me. I'd go in my hobbit hole, and I was like, ooh, it's cozy in here, and then I'd stop playing.
It's basically like unless you're like making your own game types in the game.
I just think it's fun to
just. You can try and get to the end, and then that's like the main.
I don't think that part is interesting. I've never been interested in the dragon. I always just make him mine. I just do a dwarf cosplay, and I'm just like I am a dwarf and I'm digging a hole, and I just keep digging it further and further down till I hit bedrock, and then I just dig out. So I
made an underground tram system once.
I've made a lot of those. As my mind gets bigger, I have to do that because it takes 5 minutes to walk.
Yeah, I literally decided I was gonna because back in the 360, like your world was a certain size. It wasn't infinite.
Correct.
So I decided I was going to make a subway that went across my entire world with stops. That was my that was like 3 weeks for me for a very brief period.
Yeah, man. Like I said, there's been a lot of fun that I've had in that game, but at the same time, there's been a lot of stuff that's like, yeah. It's one of those things where
makes zero sense to me.
People are still enjoying it. It doesn't have to be me. The SOC Investment Group says that they say that Activision Blizzard in the sale has been valued too cheap due to scumbags not doing enough. Basically, that the valuation of Microsoft having for them of that sale, that number would be way, 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 way higher if all of this scumbaggery,
if all the controversy hadn't been a thing.
Yes, correct. Yeah. And so they're trying to say that they should not go through with the sale because they don't think they're going to make enough off of it, and that they think about how much money they would have made if they could get all this scumbaggery under control and then try to sell. And I'm here to tell you, Microsoft wouldn't buy you if you went back at full price. That's kind of how the heat of the moment works. The iron is hot. When the iron cools, they just put you back in the oven.
Yeah, they don't have to buy you. Like, it's not a thing.
Correct.
You're still going to want games to come out on their systems either way. They are literally in the position of they can't lose.
Correct. Also, allegedly, the California governor has been accused of allegedly interfering in the corruption trials allegedly involving Blizzard allegedly. Bloomberg reports that state agency chief counsel was fired and their assistant resigned in protest, that 2 attorneys stepped down, and
it's bad when the lawyers are going, hey man, that's too much.
And they were fired by the governor. And that 2 attorneys stepped down due to the governor going, hey, I need you to tell me exactly what you're doing and what your line of questioning is before you do it. Again, allegedly. because I don't want to get sued for any of this. But this is what it says. So I can't prove any of it, but this is what the reporting is saying. So I'm just going to say allegedly for all of it. Wink, 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 wink. Obviously, at this point, something is happening involving Activision Blizzard. No one is surprised. It is also really bad that the governor is getting involved. That is not a good sign. Yeah,
it's one of those things where it's just like, at this point, corruption's everywhere.
At this point, Activision Blizzard, we're finding out how far these damn tap roots go for Activision Blizzard.
It really does feel like one of those, like, you think of like conspiracy theories, going all the way to the top sort of thing.
And it turns out that it's correct.
And it's one of those things, like, I'm glad, like, the best thing we can say about this is
it all come to light now.
Yeah, like it's out. Yeah. Like the story's out. But and it just can you believe that it's almost been a year since this story first broke?
Nope. No, I cannot. It feels like I have been looking into this for,
because I think it broke in like August of last year.
It feels like it's been a billion years. I'm pretty sure this broke right after the country was almost toppled.
But it's every time we hear more about it, it gets weirder and worse.
Yeah,
and
I thought that people stealing breast milk was going to be the end of it. That was the worst.
Yeah.
Nope.
No, not at all. Apparently.
Not at all.
And someone who lives in Alabama, we get all this, we get shit like this.
We get free breast milk all the time. We don't have to steal it. Yeah, it's fine.
Oh my god. We don't have as much publicized like national news corruption.
Yeah.
But as far as local stuff, you find out a lot that's just like, hey, that a local sheriff in a hick town was controlling people in the house. It's like, what?
Yeah, did you know? Yeah, like, did you know that the sheriff in that town was also the biggest drug dealer in the state? No one knew that. Crazy how that works. Super crazy.
Yeah.
Or that the governor was banging his secretary and doing cocaine bumps off her ass. Y'all hear me make that joke a lot, but it actually happened. So
that was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it just, and of course now it's touching in our particular realm of news that we kind of try and focus on a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it really is mostly sad, where it's just like,
yeah. I think about
because every time I see Activision Blizzard in a headline, and I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not excited when I see that company name anymore. I'm not like, oh, it's gonna be a cool new game announcement, or are they doing a thing? It's just like, what is it this time?
Before Blizzard got with Activision, Blizzard was the pinnacle of taking gameplay and turning it around and refining it.
Yeah.
They would do that for everything, and including
whatever game genre they were in, they would become the king of that game genre.
They took EverQuest, they did that. World of Warcraft, they took Team Fortress and did it with Overwatch. I know that was while they were at Activision, but it was still Blizzard was still Blizzard. And Hearthstone.
They did it with the dungeon crawler with Diablo. They did it with the mobile card game with Hearthstone.
Yes, they did.
I'm sure they're still making $1 billion off of Hearthstone.
Yes, they did it with all these things, and then. Now, I mean, and apparently even back then there was still like scumbag stuff, but I'm not going to ever try to justify any of that happening, because none of that had to happen, and none of that would, and that all that stuff happening did not make the games better. The games were still good, even though all that shitty stuff happened, and that's unfortunate. Just imagine how much better those games would have been if people had not been sad about having their boss crawl underneath them in a cubicle and slap them on the ass and go, thick rolls, am I right? Yeah, go. Hey, we're out of breast milk in fridge number 2.
I don't think StarCraft was made any better because Activision was now in control. Like, that's
Correct.
Not.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the Activision being there nor the frat boy society stuff that has happened was any better either way. And that is all unfortunate, because now when I look at that stuff, I just go, man, sucks. Like, I look at Overwatch. Overwatch League was the biggest thing in the world. And
for like a year.
But it was multiple years. It was several years, and then the pandemic happened. So they're like, "Well, we got to do digital stuff." And then they were just like, "We're also just not going to touch Overwatch. We're just going to leave it and not do anything." To the point where they have a holiday active in Overwatch right now, and I'm thankful they're doing the thing where you can redo the community challenge skins because there's some of those I didn't get, and that's cool that I can replay those. But the holiday skins are literally 4 skins that are other skins. They just turned them all white.
Yep.
They called them
remix the good
skins.
Versions of these, you know.
Yeah, they're all evil skins. It's like the Cthulhu cultist, but he's white, or the witch, and now she's got a white skin, or the evil knight with the demon face, but now he's white, or the Oni skin, but now he's white. It's like they just, or the black cat, but now it's a white cat. Like they just did the purified versions of all these evil cosmetics, and it's just like, this is your anniversary, and this is what you did. This is your coming out. Like this is where BlizzCon happens, and this is what you did.
Yeah.
Like, what have you
Remember
done?
when their anniversaries used to be like, oh, cool, we're actually getting these cool single player story adventures?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
What happened, guys? Overwatch 2 got announced. Like, all right.
They moved it to the archive event. It's now called the archives now. It's now a completely different event that'll probably happen in like a month because they have like, it's like the front end of the year is loaded like every month has an event. Yeah. So it'll probably be coming up soon, and it'll probably be like, you can now have the new version of, I played as McCree, but he's not McCree now, and it's still weird. I almost wish they had taken out McCree, gotten rid of Matt Mercer, and just put a new character in with the exact same moves and a new voice actor. Because he still says all the things McCree says, but he's like, I'm Cole Cassidy. It's
also,
noon. I mean, and it's just like
you can literally go watch like his cinematic, and he's still McCree.
Yes, correct. Absolutely. They even did an event where they're like, he's been hiding from his name for a long time, and now he's ready to take his name back, and his name is Cole Cassidy. And I'm like, that is the dumbest thing you could have done. You could have literally killed him off and brought another cowboy in and been like, this is Cole Cassidy. McCree has been retired because of the sex pervert stuff that allegedly happened.
Yeah.
That would have been a lot better idea than literally having the dude who is McCree. But they're like, it's like Cole Cassidy, good to see you, my friend. It has been so long since I have seen you. It's like they had to like snippet splice the audio files in, and you're just like, I hate that. I hate that so much. Apparently, Blizzard was very quick to reverse course on this, and Mike Ybarra came out and was like, no, get our name out of the news. No, don't do this. Blizzard was sending out surveys about blockchain gaming and NFTs.
Oh my God, no.
And they were sending that out. People have the receipts to prove that it happened.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And Mike Ybarra came out and said, no, he put out a tweet that says, no one's doing NFTs. Why are you asking about it?
Activision.
Yeah, but why are you asking about it? If you're not going to do it, why are you asking about it?
Because I'm guessing they wanted to kind of like stealthily like ask people, but once as they should have seen became a news story, they're like, whoa, backtrack. Yeah. Mollify.
I don't like that
tell them to get the torches. Just put it down.
I don't like that the reason that we're still in this space is because of outrage, because then it makes everyone outrage over everything. The only thing that gets these companies to do the right thing is when people fucking scream, and it makes their stocks plummet. If people don't get outraged,
because they hope we get exhausted after a certain amount of time.
Correct,
then they can.
But let me tell you, if there's one thing I've learned about the internet, it never sleeps. People are always willing to be angry. You just have to learn. You just have to learn when to pick your fights. You got to pick the righteous fights, because there's always a fight. If you're on the internet, there's always a fight you could have. It's just not the one to have.
That's true.
I literally saw people
in the patch. You got to pick your battles.
I saw in the patch notes in the response to the patch notes for WWE, someone was like, this game is shit. This game is garbage. I'm going to break my disc in half. If it was WWE 2K20, I'd at least sell it to somebody, but this game is so doo-doo feces that I'm just going to break it in half. And I was just like, bro, you are not playing the same game as me. This game is incredible. Like, everybody else in the comments is like, yo, this game rocks. It's so good. And that dude just
break your game. Physical media is dead anyway. Shut up.
Yeah, really. That's not the game that you have installed, sir.
I just love that he was just, it's a troll, because they specifically said like 2K20, and they just want to get a rise out of somebody.
Yeah, correct. And I looked at it and I was like, I could say we're not playing the same game, but I also could just go play more 2K 2022 and just forget this guy ever exists.
I can just get on with my life.
You know what I did? I played more 2K 2022, baby. Hey, good times. Oh, I know this doesn't matter to anybody, but maybe it will if you're a wrestling fan. I pulled one of the Sapphire rarity characters that was on the new pack for my faction. Like Drew McIntyre, the dude who wears like a kilt and has like a giant sword. I pulled the Sapphire version of him. He's the dude in the middle on the front of the pack, and I assume that means he's really good. But he's Sapphire rarity, which is also good for that my faction mode. So that's pretty exciting.
You're gonna run out of contracts for him real quick.
Okay, but like also the contracts are so fucking cheap, it doesn't matter.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just saying, they're probably using him a lot because he's a Sapphire.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's why I'm trying to level up the like Legion of Doom looking Undertaker who has like the big cape and stuff, is because he evolves more than the other Undertakers. I would like to use American Badass Undertaker because it's kind of ridiculous, or like the one with the cane mask, but like they don't evolve as many times as this one does, and this one has the highest stats of all the Undertaker. So we'll get into that later. We have other stuff to talk about. Square Enix's president says that they reiterate. He's not done talking about NFTs, folks.
Great.
He wants to automate game content.
What?
He wants to give the means of productions to the players and have them make the content for him.
Oh, so Bethesda.
But he doesn't want to pay you. So,
Bethesda.
So not Bethesda. No.
Yeah, it is.
No, because Bethesda has modders, and then they have the Creation Club where you actually got paid. This guy just wants...
They did that recently. Bethesda has had this model for decades.
No, it
Stop
is not.
pretending it's a new thing.
This is not the same fucking thing. That is people making mods for games. They're not holding a gun to your head and going, this is the game, you have to make mods. He wants to literally take the game and design the game in a way where you have to make your own content. It is not the same. He wants, and I quote, the quote is... Some players play for the fun of the game, and others want to contribute. We want to build the number of those who want to contribute by making the content automated, by having them make the content for us. It's not, he wants the number of people who play games for fun to go down, and the people who make the content to go up, so that people are not having fun, they're treating it like a job, but they're not getting paid.
Sure.
That's
but there can
stupid.
also be people like what was that game, Dreams, where they just gave you a tool set and you could make games in it.
But that's not the same thing. He's wanting you to basically be a crypto miner in games.
Sure.
That's completely different from like making your own game in like RPG Maker. That's you making a game. He wants you to automate. He wants to automate the thing. He wants you to make the dungeons that other people play in the games. Fuck that. Fuck that. I hate that. I hate that so much. It's a cool idea. But from
also,
like,
to call that automation is a bit insulting.
Yes, that's the whole thing. But it literally, the key word was he wanted to automate it. I hate that.
Literally I want the slaves to make it for me.
Literally says he wants to automate game content that makes itself, and that the blockchain will be important to that future.
First off, if someone's making it, the game's not making itself.
Yeah, I'm aware, but hey, you know what? They're contributing. They're contributing. We're not paying them anything, but they're contributing. He wants slave labor. It's stupid. I hate it. There is a teaser that came out on the Call of Duty website. Pretty
Maybe
excited.
He's just mad about Strangers of Paradise, where it's like, fine, you guys make the game. See how you like it.
It's possible. I don't know. There's a teaser that came out on the Call of Duty website that had some audio making some weird noises. People ran it through a spectrogram. And if you look at the image of the sound file, it says, monsters are real. There's apparently a teaser for Godzilla and King Kong coming to Call of Duty.
So are they going to be like bosses, or are we going to have weird Godzilla like, King Kong skins?
Probably, it would be Bryan Cranston, if anybody, let's be honest. But also, I think it would be something that happens in their Battle Royale thing, where like Godzilla and King Kong show up the way that Nakatomi Plaza showed up.
That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah,
because when you first said that, I'm like, wait, are they trying
no, because
am I going to be in the rubber Godzilla suit?
I mean, one, absolutely, please, yes, absolutely, sounds amazing. But also, during the Scream event, which was awesome, they had jump scares and telephones where you could answer the phone and talk to.
He'd talk to you.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like the jump scares were actually terrifying. Like your screen would crack and like the woman from The Grudge would come out of your fucking TV and it looked like it was just actually coming out of your TV. It was crazy. Or like you would be like, I can't hear what's going on because suddenly bees are getting louder and all of a sudden your screen is covered in bees and you have like a fear meter. It was a really good mode. It was awesome. I wish that mode was around more. That mode was super cool.
If it's going to be one of those things where we all have to like band together to fight Godzilla and King Kong, I might go into Warzone just to do that.
Yeah, because I went into Warzone for the Rambo and the stuff because they had like the POW camps, and then during the Die Hard, they had Nakatomi Plaza was in the game.
Yeah,
and you went in there and you had to fight the people, and you could open the vault in the tower, and it was crazy, and like that was awesome. And if they're doing that for Godzilla, the other crossover modes have been super fun. So like there was another mode that was not in Warzone that was just in Cold War where you ran around as Ghostface and you were just like running around, like it was like two people were Ghostface. Yeah, two people were Ghostface and everybody else was hiding, and you were like taking everybody out as you were like trying to be the last survivor basically. And the last survivor gets a machete and then has to fight Ghostface to death. It was very fun. It was a very, very fun mode. But it, also the entire time you're hearing the guy who voices Ghostface. They had him record a bunch of audio where he's like, tick tock, I'm coming for you. You can't get away from me. And you're like,
yeah, please go away. I don't like it.
Yeah, that mode was really good. So if that's actually coming to that, that's wonderful. Also, happy 420, everybody. Snoop Dogg is now in Call of Duty. I bought
Time
Snoop
to blaze
Dogg.
it.
I bought Snoop Dogg 420 Blaze it.
Sure. I bet I just feel like that's super. $20 is a lot.
I mean, that's how, but it's you're not just buying the skin, you're buying a bundle.
I know.
And that's how and when you think about it from that point of view, it's like, well, you think about like, you're buying a whole bundle of stuff. If you could just
and
buy
I get it for the memes and stuff, but for me, that's just not for $20.
Sure, but that's the way it is with every one of the skins. Because the only difference between that and Fortnite is that Fortnite sells bundles, and you can buy all that stuff, and it might be $24 for the whole bundle, but you can buy everything piecemeal. Call of Duty, you can't just buy the skin. You have to buy the entire. You're always forced to buy the full bundle. That's the only difference. It's the only thing that makes it seem more expensive than Fortnite. It's not any more expensive than Fortnite. It just seems that way because you have to buy the bundle. But I digress. The KOTOR remake. I
buy Snoop Dogg and Fortnite either.
I would buy a Snoop Dogg. I would buy that and then get that emote.
Sure. Because
that's already an emote in Fortnite, but I don't have a Snoop Dogg skin yet. I do have APAC and Bruno Mars though, so I guess it works. The KOTOR remake studio bought Beamdog. Aspire Studios bought Beamdog, the people who made Planescape Torment, the Baldur's Gate remasters. There were some ex-BioWare leads that went off and made their own studio, and they were like, what if we bought the people who used to lead BioWare and bought them to do the KOTOR remaster? Wouldn't that be sick? So apparently...
Makes sense.
Sure, but yeah, so apparently that is a thing that has happened. So I'm reporting
like,
on that.
You left BioWare, but hey, you want to remake this BioWare game?
Correct.
It's like, God damn it!
They released a new update for Final Fantasy XIV. There's a lot of cool stuff. There was a bug with the housing lottery they introduced to make housing fair, and the housing lottery made it where there was a bug in it where people were literally losing auctions to nobody because there was a bug in the system that made it where the house itself got its own bet, and so when they rolled, sometimes the house would win, and when the house won, it just refunded
like it's a fucking
money.
Casino. The house wins.
Well, like the house, the lot itself had a chance to win, but when it did, it just refunded everybody's money, and then everybody had to go put in another bid.
Do it again.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Which was just like, ugh. So you had to wait for the house to lose its own property and then it would go up for sale again. So it was like 3 days later, we can try again. It was really dumb. But I
was going to get this house, but the house didn't want me, so I don't want it.
But a thing that is super cool about this update is they've done it with this, and they have done it with, I've tinkered around with the squadron missions, which is where you lead a team of recruits that you're training as a leader of your grand company. So like the Maelstrom, the Adders, the whatever, right? So I have played around with running dungeons as the only player character in a full party of NPCs. The tank and the healer are both NPCs, and I'm a damage dealer, and I've got one other damage dealer. They're all NPCs, and we're running like 1,000 miles of Toto rack and stuff like that. It works super well. It's super crazy because they don't have to do the mechanics. You're the only person who has to do the mechanics, so they can literally just ignore the mechanics. You don't have to worry about them dying from AoE. They're fine. They have now updated Realm Reborn, the entire base game. You can now play the entire game solo. There will be NPCs and main characters that will go through those dungeons with you if you don't want to group up with people. And they're going to be doing that for every other expansion until they catch up for the entire game to be that way. And then they're going to, I guess, do that going forward with all the other stuff. So if you wanted to play through Realm Reborn, you can now play through every single ounce of that content and never talk to another human being. That's awesome.
That's actually pretty
super
cool.
Awesome.
Because I mean, I appreciate this social aspect of MMOs, but sometimes you just don't wanna, and you still want to do the stuff.
Sure, totally. And so that's why I've been like, I will like level up my alternate classes by doing the squadron missions, by like going and doing those dungeons. So now I know when I'm lower level, I can now just go run those dungeons with just randos, I guess.
Well, it's also cool with if you're trying to learn how to be a healer or a tank, you can learn that in a very safe environment and not be judged by people.
And that's why it's super awesome. People have been doing that in the squadron missions because you have like 12 or 20 different dungeons you can do. It's a lot of dungeons in that squadron thing. Yeah. And you can do all those and level up and get loot and get the gear and stuff by running those dungeons with your people that you're training. And so that's been super cool. It's very exciting. They're doing that and they're going forward and upgrading all that stuff. That's nuts. I love it. Thank you. Yoshi P continuing to just ping, knock it out of the park. They put a new pet out for the Easter event's going on right now. And they put out a new pet you could get for that. It's super cute. It's like a ragdoll bunny rabbit. It's very cute. It's got a gigantic poofy tail. It's like 3 times bigger than his body. And there's an egg that is a reference to Ross from Rubber Ross from the internet.
With his egg eating challenge,
yes,
or whatever
it is literally an eat egg emote, and it literally says when you want to eat an egg or a couple thousand or a couple stacks. Yeah, it's a very good. So that's pretty great. So
I think that's funny that the random joke event on the internet is now canon in game.
Yes, Final Fantasy XIV continues to be incredible. So good job. Babylon's Fall has apparently, I recorded this Monday, it fell below 8 players.
I really am curious as to what Square Enix's plan is here. Is this the game they want to automate?
Dude, I don't know. I just know that 8 players is not sustainable for a game.
That's not a player base anymore.
It's not. They remember how they literally said we're not slowing down production. We've already got like season 2 is already on the way, and we're already doing season 3. It's like, how do you feel about that?
Bro,
now?
No one's gonna be there to play it.
Yeah, how do you feel about that now? Because what was it, 30 people? It was like 30 people downloaded the demo or something like that, like a week ago.
Yeah,
and then,
it was
like,
just 30 people played the free demo.
Now we're down to the actual player base is down to below 10 people. Like,
what was it, like 100 after like the first week or something like that?
It was something crazy. But basically what I'm saying is don't make your game as if it's a free-to-play game with all the trappings of a free-to-play game and then charge $60 for it.
Yeah, that never works.
No, it does not. And this is literally this is going to be a thing people are going to use case studies for and go, don't do that.
Yeah, you don't want to be a cautionary tale.
It could not be a more fitting name for a game either. Babylon's Fall. Oh, boy.
They thought it was going to be something, but it fell, and it fell fast. This thing has fallen like a brick out of a plane.
So fast. All right, to get back to some good news. You know what? Let's go to the bad news real quick. No, you know what? Let's go back to the good news. No, I lied. Hikaru Utada came out for Coachella and stole the show. Literally, no one gave a shit about anything that happened in Coachella other than that.
Except for her. That's how I feel as well.
Yeah, she came out and did a bunch of stuff, and then everybody got excited, and then they came out and did a bunch of stuff, and then dipped out, and everybody was like, "That's the best thing. I can go home now."
Yeah. I know I spent a bunch of money on this pass, but I'm going to go home.
Right,
nothing can top this.
Here, Face Your Fears, please. Yeah. I'm out. Simple and Clean and other things. I'm gone. See ya. The GTA 5 port took out a lot of transphobic content. There was some characters that were very, very poor takes on. It was not. They were like really, really scummy takes, like insulting takes on drag queens. They were like,
I'm guessing
really,
it's in
really
the story
hyped.
mode.
No, it was also in the online. They were just characters out in the world that had like talking and stuff. It was not a story mission. It was just like characters that walked around and always hung around the gay bar in the game, but they were very, very like, it was like cocktail dresses, balls hanging out of the bottom of the dress, like super hairy legs, like shitty makeup, like really trashy wigs. They just were very insulting, and then like their dialogue was very caricature in a very insulting way. They have taken that out, and everyone is happy because nothing was to be gained from that. Any joke that could have been funny in that probably wasn't funny enough to insult an entire group of people that are already having to deal with having to live in a day-to-day that's already fucked.
And certainly not for just like a passerby going by
correct.
a bar. You may or may not hear.
Correct.
I could tell you I have never heard or interacted with those people.
Correct. And also, you've done people a favor, and it costs no one anything of value. So why not? Like
anyone who screams about it is an idiot.
Yep. All right.
Like, I can't believe you take it out.
Well, that was the good news. Back to the bad news. Actually, I guess it's kind of good news in a way. Apparently, the crypto games are actually losing their player bases at a speed where the people who are referred to as the crypto landlords are very angry at the developers of these crypto games because they can't keep the player bases in, because the value of the free currency, the script that they're paying their workers, is not worth enough for them to justify playing the game still. So the landlords, and
also the game's probably not that fun.
Correct. And so the landlords are losing all their workers, because the script that they're trying to pay their employees is not worth enough to keep them playing the crypto game while they're raking in hundreds of thousands of dollars. So people are very...
As it turns out, people get that enough in their real lives, and they don't want to deal with it on the internet.
Correct. It's almost like that's a stupid idea, and people shouldn't play games like that. Yeah,
it's almost like if you don't pay someone what they think is worth their time, they're not going to do that thing.
How about that? That's nuts.
And it has nothing to do with them being lazy.
Correct. Amy Hennig, do you know who that is?
I do.
Okay.
Uncharted, Naughty Dog.
Correct.
She's supposed to do a Star Wars game a while back.
Ragtag. Yeah, got canceled. Yeah. Amy Hennig is now going to be doing another Star Wars game. Because it turns out
Deja vu, I think I've heard this before.
It turns out that Lucas and Disney were like, why did we take her game away? Let's give her a game. So not only is she doing a Marvel game, she's also doing a Star Wars game. And apparently Project Ragtag was pretty far along, so a lot of that might be getting a second chance at life, which sounds good. I got no problems with that.
Sounds great. I like her games.
It is a narrative-driven action-adventure game in the Star Wars universe.
Narrative-driven action-adventure game. I think she's done games like that before.
Yeah, what is she working for? Sony? What is this? Is there going to be a bow and arrow in this that shoots lasers?
I keep feeling these feelings of deja vu.
Yeah, whoa, I'm reeling from the deja vu.
Am I in the Matrix?
Yeah. So I got to put my boys back up for a second. Hold on, here we go, because Sega is being mentioned. So here they are again. Sega is developing big budget Jet Set Radio and Crazy Taxi games, allegedly.
I'd be super excited about that.
Yes,
because
me too.
I
because
enjoyed
I love
both of those games.
Yeah, well, okay, I love Jet Set Radio Future. Jet Set Radio, I didn't love as much because that's the one where you're in a room and it's timed and you have to like beat up the cops and do all the stuff in like a small room. That one's not as fun to me as like the one that they will never remaster, but they need to remaster because it's the best one in the whole series and everyone knows it and everyone says it, and they haven't done it yet because they don't like
Jet Set Radio
money.
Is it? Yeah.
Jet Set Radio Future, so good. Yeah, I mean,
or just re-release it on the arcade. Just
correct.
Give
or just
the downloadable version,
or just give me that on Xbox. Yeah, whatever. Also, apparently they're. I
don't
know
it
how
on Steam if you have to.
I don't know how this is going to work. Because this game in particular that I'm about to mention is based off of every movie from the 80s. And I don't know how that's going to work in 2020 whenever it comes out. Streets of Rage is supposed to be getting a movie done by the writer of John Wick that is done by the same production house that has handled the Sonic films. I mention this because I know you love that series.
Oh, absolutely.
I know.
And also love John Wick.
Correct.
So this is a lot of things are coming together for me here.
They have not mentioned what the story is going to be, and also the story of Streets of Rage was literally girlfriend gets stolen by Big Bad, go fight Big Bad, get girlfriend back, which is every movie from the 80s. So how's that going to work? Because that is literally every movie that's ever existed from the 80s, like I said. So that sure is a thing to consider, because it's like, how do you make that differentiate? Also, you'd have to make it, if it's John Wick, you'd have to make it like rated R, because you're not going to want to like, 100%. Because you can't make like a kid's Streets of Rage movie. What is it going to be, animated? It's going to be like a Bobo walks out and goes, like, you can't do that.
I think if they did it more like Streets of Rage 2, it would work a lot better, where it's, basically a bouncer and a private detective are working together to try to take down a crime boss who's controlling the city.
Sure, but that just sounds like Lethal Weapon.
And Lethal Weapon's great. I don't know why you have a problem.
I don't have a problem. I'm just trying to find how the identity of this game series is going to translate into film. That's my problem.
To be honest, I have that particular thought with every video game that comes out. I just have to hope that they do it.
Sure. I get it, but that's I'm asking you more so than me, because like I think they're fun and I play them with you, but like,
yeah. And Streets of Rage 4 is leaving Game Pass soon, which I'm super sad about.
I know you are. Also, they have not mentioned who the composer for this movie will be, which they sure fucked that up with Streets of Rage 4, which was good music, but it wasn't the music that everybody wanted.
Well, then they released the Mr. X update with improved tracks, and then
did they?
Everyone's happy again. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So are they going to release the Mr. X cut of the movie? It's going to be like they release a trailer and none of the music is what it's supposed to be, and so everybody gets mad, and then they're like, "We'll fix it like we did Sonic. It's like, just do it right the first time."
Yeah. Learn from your mistakes.
God bless America.
Stop making things nightmare creatures.
Why are you doing this?
Which, by the way,
have you seen the stand-in?
I love the doll that they had to film with.
Boy, the stand-in for the first movie was such a nightmare, and the stand-ins for the things are just like statues of them that you can go put up in like a park in Japan somewhere, and it would be fine, because it's just like an actual statue of Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails. But the one from the first movie is like...
The first movie is his like first design. It's the human face.
It's like someone's weird fuck doll. It's creepy. I hate it. It's terrifying. It's so scary. It's sketchy.
For the last time, never put human teeth in Sonic's face.
Yeah, it is such a nightmare. G4 released a video where they had Kasim go out and try to like get people to like argue that version needed to come back and that it was the actual good version, and no one agreed with him.
Yeah, everyone's just like, no.
Yeah, no one agreed. Like,
get away from me, crazy person.
Like he was really holding up a picture of like both of them side by side. And he's like, "Which one do you like, little girl?" And she's like, "That one." And he's like, "Oh, this one?" She's like, "No, that one." He's like, "Oh, that one? Yeah, I know, right?" And she's like, "No, that one." He's like, "Yeah, I know, it's terrible, right? This one's really good." She's like, "No, it's ugly." He's like, ugh. Yeah. Like, I was just like, not even in a joke could I ever say that seriously.
Yeah, no.
Like, no, absolutely. It's not even like, no way. He was like, "Can you believe that Kevin Pereira passed on this bit?" And it's like, no, really? It's almost like pecking order kicked in and they picked you.
Yeah, no, I'd be super excited for a Streets of Rage movie. I'd probably see it no matter what the quality ends up being, at least once.
Yeah,
but,
I get it.
because
it's Streets of Rage and it's you. I get it.
Yeah, I own the Monster Hunter movie, so
I still haven't watched it.
I guess I'm just a sucker.
It's kind of crazy that the DLC for that is gone away. They own the IP, but they're doing away with the missions and the story stuff in world. I think it was done away like last November, but
because they want everyone to forget that it exists.
It's possible. All right, so now you watched the WoW announcement.
I did.
Okay, did you watch the cinematic or the feature trailer or both?
I watched the cinematic. I started watching the feature thing, and I'm like, cool, new race, but it looks like playing a mage mixed with a shaman.
Okay. All right. We're gonna talk about that, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. So, I just want to say this: 10,000 years ago, when this all started.
Yeah.
10,000 years ago. A lot has happened since 10,000 years ago. DragonFlight is the name of the new expansion they've announced, and it literally starts by saying 10,000 years ago, and it's the first thing you see.
Yeah, and then you see the dudes, and they're powering up a sex toy for all I know.
You see all of these very cool like watchers, like Algalon or whatever. Like I'm sorry, he's the observer, but you see all these crazy like stone watchers that are from like Ulduar and stuff, like those kind of dudes, but they're like on the dragon homeland that apparently has been hidden by this like obscuring weather machine they turned on 10,000 years ago. It literally
sounds like Pandaria again.
Yeah, it is, because they literally are like, we're leaving now, and you need to turn that on, and then sit here forever, and then we'll come back someday whenever you turn the beacon on when you need us. And so this one stone watcher guy wakes up, and I will say, one, this trailer is beautiful. Obviously, all of their cinematics are beautiful. The little subtle animations to the way he animates, to where he like acts like he's made of stone, like where he like literally like chitters a little bit when he like moves and stuff. The subtleties in that were incredible. I was like, oh, it's so good.
Yes, it was a very well animated trailer.
Yeah, it's
if
so
only
good.
I cared about anything that was going on in it.
It's so beautifully animated, and my next words out of my mouth are, but it's the most boring fucking nonsensical thing that doesn't matter.
You watch him turn off a thing, go back and turn on a thing, and then he gets grabbed by what I assume is Alexstrasza, and that's where it ends.
So this is how it goes. They tell them to turn on this tower, and there's a big Stone Watcher King guy and a bunch of other Stone Watcher guys, and they all go into a dormant state, and they turn on this thing that obscures the thing. Then, 10,000 years pass. One guy wakes up. He looks at the guy next to him, and is like, how's it going, Dave? But he doesn't say that. He just looks at him. Dave's face is cleaved off because it's been 10,000 years, and he's mad at a fucking rock, so it's constantly raining. Gee, I wonder why. He then walks past every single other one of these people while he is being beautifully animated. I just want to put that out because it's so beautifully animated, and the way he moves being made out of stone, it looks really good. I can't stress that enough because it's the only positive thing I'm going to say about this whole damn thing. So let me get the positive in here. It's animated. Whoever animated him did such a great job. He then climbs up there, gets all the way up there to the top where the king is. Magma is pouring out of the stairs as he's walking up behind him because the whole world is like falling apart wherever he's at. Yeah. He gets to the king. The king's face is also cleaved off because someone's running around stealing rock faces. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, apparently someone's just like, I'm going to murder these statues, except for that one guy.
10,000 years, and it's just like the rain erodes their face. It doesn't look like they've been broken. They're not cracked. It just looks like it just like eroded away. And he's the only one left. So then he turns the switch to turn the thing back on. It doesn't turn on. It's really boring. You're just like, okay, it's supposed to be tranquil, but it's not tranquil. It just feels alone and boring. He goes to activate the thing. It doesn't activate. It starts moving, and then it doesn't. So he climbs up to this crystal that's broken in half that is supposed to come back together and create like the lighthouse effect that reveals the dragon lands or whatever. Yeah. He climbs up there and grabs both ends, and he starts pulling it in, but he's made out of stone, and he's pulling something metal. So he starts cracking, and then he like starts cracking and like breaking apart. He pulls it together, and as he does, he does a shockwave thing, and he like falls backwards off, and he's like, and he like literally closes his eyes like, I am a stone guy, and I'm going to hit the ground, and I'm going to shatter into a million pieces. And I have
served my purpose.
And I literally said Alexstrasza or Nosdormu is going to catch him. Either time is going to freeze, and Nosdormu is going to grab him, or Alexstrasza is going to fly in as a big red dragon and grab him. What happens?
Well, Alexstrasza grabs him.
Correct.
I assume that's Alexstrasza.
It was the most boring, predictable thing I've ever seen because dude falls and you're like, he's not going to fall. They're going to show up and be like, thank you for lighting the lantern. He falls. They catch him. Thank you for lighting the lantern. She looks down at him and smiles as a weird, creepy dragon. And he's like, I'm Stone Man. I'm cracked to pieces.
And you get to see a lot of other very colorful, pretty dragons flying around.
You get to see all of them. So that's what I thought was going to happen, and it did. It was very predictable, and nothing else happened. And the entire thing, it's like a long, drawn-out thing where a dude takes a hike in the woods.
It a little reminds me, it's very similar to like the May cutscene that they did for her, except without the emotional impact.
Except without any emotional impact of you finding out that all of her friends are actually skeletons, and she drinks coffee next to their corpses. Yeah. a lot different than I'm a rock man. I am a rock man. Look at me. I can't even be in a rock band. Yeah, anyway, it's very boring. That was more exciting than the entire trailer. It was just beautifully animated boringness. So, the thing I want to point out about this, the dragons gave up their powers in Cataclysm to stop Deathwing. Yep. Remember that when they all became mortal and the light faded from their eyes and they were all like, we're mortal now.
Yeah, we're just dragon people. We'll die like the rest of you eventually.
Okay, well, if that's the fucking case, are they going to get their powers back from this expansion?
I literally texted you about that when you were talking about the trailer. It's just like, so are we getting their powers back or?
Like, yeah, because I literally that was the climax of that was that all of them lost their powers to stop Deathwing, and they're like, we've given it up, and then you lose not Yuzara. Was it named Yuzara? The green and purple dragon. I've forgotten her name because it's been so long since I've played WoW at this point. But the one that you lose in Battle for Azeroth or Legion.
Oh, Ysera.
Ysera. Sorry. You lose her to the insanity, and it's a really sad, touching moment, and you're sad about it. Then there's 5 zones, all based on the different DragonFlights. Okay, this just sounds like you're making an entire expansion. I thought we already
did the Emerald Dream.
It's not just that, no, because the Emerald Dream was one thing, right? That was one thing based off that. So now you've got all these other things based off the other DragonFlights. All I can think of is this is literally Wormrest from Wrath of the Lich King, where they all had their own sanctums, and it was all based off the different DragonFlights, and in the middle was Wormrest Temple.
And it also reminds me of Pandaria, because it's like, oh, you elect a new island.
It is literally, if you locked
Wormrest, new race of people gets to...
Yes. That is why I'm not excited about this expansion, and I don't care, because as someone who is such a lore nut for World of Warcraft and the Warcraft lore, you've literally taken 2 expansions you did in the past and said, now kids.
Smashed them together.
Yeah. So it is literally one zone. It's 5 zones made based off of one zone from Wrath of the Lich King that is hidden with the same plot point from Mist of Pandaria. The mists have parted, and now we can see it.
And I also wonder if it's going to be like Mist of Pandaria, where you go from zone to zone, following like the singular, like the main through plot.
I think it will probably be more like Battle for Azeroth, where each one of those islands is a different zone you load into, and you will probably do that like that. So it'll probably be 3 expansions put together. Either way. There's a thing, the new feature they talk about in this, it genuinely screamed out loud when I read it. The new feature in this is that everyone wants flight at the beginning of an expansion, right?
Sure.
There's a new skill they're adding called dragon riding. You can do it from the beginning of the expansion. Everyone will be able to customize their own dragon. You want a proto drake, you can have one. You want a bronze drake, cool. You want a T-Rex looking thing, you can have that. That's a very cool idea because everyone's dragon doesn't look the same because everybody gets the moth and the moth all looks the same. That's fine.
Yeah, customization is very important to a lot of people in WoW.
That's super cool. However, you can unlock new abilities and do different things as you rank up your dragon riding. That sounds cool, right?
Sure.
They're upgrading flying and giving you this new dragon riding thing. All right, cool. The only thing that can do it is the new customizable dragon mount. So you have hundreds of 20 years worth of mounts, and you can only use the one fucking new mount from the fucking new expansion.
1 step forward and 3 steps back every time.
So the only thing that can use this new fucking ability, not even your other dragons, by the way. I have hundreds of dragons in World of Warcraft. But the only one that can do it is this new customizable dragon. All your other flying mounts can't do it because it's special. That made me scream.
Dragon riding.
I literally have a point here that says hundreds of mounts? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark.
Well, maybe it becomes a thing like once you beat the expansion or whatever, you get to the end point, then you can ride your other mounts.
I highly
but
fucking
until then,
doubt it.
It's, dragons all the way down.
I highly fucking doubt it. But anyway, they added a new race, and this expansion feels okay. From top to bottom, this entire expansion feels lazy and not even thought out. It's an amalgam of a bunch of ideas from past expansions. Nothing is new. And the new race is the Drakthir. It's dragon worgans. You are a dragon humanoid, but you're not like Ysera and Nozdormu.
Yeah, you don't get to be a big dragon person.
You don't get to be a big dragon person. You turn into like a Worgen, basically. You have like a
turn to a humanoid.
You have like there's like a human. You have like a human form that has like dragon scales around your face and like horns sticking off of you and stuff. And then you have you're like, I stand on 2 feet and basically look more like a fucking like pterodactyl or a gargoyle than an actual dragon, because dragons in this world stand on 2 feet. You look like the things from like Cataclysm that were like the chaos cult that walked around with the little halberds and spun them. Like you look more like one of those, like the dragonkin people, than you do the dragons.
Sure.
So there's a new race called the Drakthir. They can only be the new class, the Evoker or whatever it is.
Yep.
And so that race can only be, it's a whole new race, can only be one class.
One class.
And that class can only be the new race.
Yeah.
So you're doing this whole fucking thing to make a whole new race, and it is one class. And the one class is one race. That is so limited and boring that this entire thing... It also makes
me think that everyone's going to be running around as Drakthir trying out the new class.
It's going to be nothing but fucking Drakthir on customizable dragons, and everyone is going to be playing the exact same thing, and that is so boring. And with any other class, even Death Knights, you can be any race. Or with a lot of the other classes, they have a reason.
I think the Demon Hunter was only Night Elf, but there was a reason for it.
No. They could also be Blood Elves.
Oh, well.
It depended on what faction you were, but at least you could be a different thing. And there was, I know, but there was a lore reason, but at least there was more than one option. But this is just like, nah, you're just a dragon. That's it. And it's like a whole new class. It's like, it just feels super lazy. And anyway, I literally wrote, seems limited and lazy. They have a new custom starting zone, but whatever. It says, new class can only be dragons, basically Dragon Worgen with a glide.
Yeah. Okay, so I wouldn't mind so much about the class thing if that race could be other classes.
But they can't. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sure, totally. I get that.
Like a Night Elf and a Blood Elf can be anything else and not have to. It's basically if a Night Elf and Blood Elf had to be a Demon Hunter in Legion.
Correct. Like, and that's all you could be. And that's all you could be and nothing else. Yeah, that's not fun. Also, they're redoing professions to make it where you can specialize. I don't know if you remember this, but you could specialize a long time ago. That was like
Cataclysm shit.
Yeah. So engineers in World of Warcraft could become goblin or gnomish engineers. Alchemists could do transmutation mastery or potion mastery. Leather workers could do like leather. It was like, was it hide or scale? And then like
hide or mail.
Like smithing
basically
was like mail or plate or something like that. It was like, or was it armor or weapons or something? It was something like that. And then I was like, what are you talking about? And then they said the one cool thing in this expansion so far is work orders, where if you have a profession and you're leveling your profession and someone has the materials for something and they go, hey, I need someone to make this hammer for me. They can put it on a bulletin board and you go over to the bulletin board with the skill of it and you can make that item and they will pay you a commission that is already in the transaction. It's almost like when you mailed people an item and said you have to pay me this much to get the item. It's basically that in World of Warcraft, but it's not. That's interesting.
Or what people used to do in chat.
Yes, correct. Yeah, it's basically trade chat, but now it's automated. So you don't have to talk to the person. You just do it, and it just happens, and you come back, and it's done. But that thing blew my mind that they were like, oh, it's specialized. It's whatever. And I was like, yeah, but it's not specialized because it's like whatever. And they were like, they're also adding in like transmogs you can unlock of the different professions, like a miner hat with a candle and a light and like other stuff. And I'm like, you're just doing that because Final Fantasy 14 has already got whole classes that are the professions, and you're just trying to like put a Band-Aid over it. You're like, don't look at it. We got transmogs. It's different. And apparently talents are getting a rework for the 97th time. I feel like every time an expansion comes out... If I was still playing
WoW, I would be real tired of having to reset my talent points every time.
They do that every time. It's nuts. And also, WoW Classic is getting the Lich King expansion as WoW Classic Lich King, and I wrote, you cannot go home again. Like, a lot of the stuff that was great at that time was great because of the time that it was. I think it would be cool for people...
because of the people that were playing at the time.
Correct. And I think it would be cool to go back for like 5 minutes for that, but it wouldn't actually be cool to spend a lot of time there because a lot of the quality of life stuff you're going to lose.
Oh, yeah, big time.
And that's how I feel about that. So
when they did the WoW Classic thing, I'm like, it's been so long. I've thought about it, and I'm like, I don't know if I could.
I played it for 2 hours and went, nah.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I literally played it for 2 hours. I literally made a shaman, played it for 2 hours, and went, I don't like this anymore. And then just turns out that I was like, okay, this is what I was. It was when I was like streaming WoW and stuff, and I was just like, oh, I'm gonna play this because everybody wants to see it, and I did it, and I was like, I don't like this, and I went back to like playing Battle for Azeroth at the time. Okay, so let's move on to a good game. I'm sorry, WoW, but like I just feel like you're beating a dead horse, and like I want the game to be good because I have so much time in my life invested in that game. The horse
twitches every now and again,
yeah,
but it's still dead.
It's still dead. It makes me sad because like I've bonded with so many people that I'm very close to in my life over that game, you included, like, and my partner, and like whatever. Like we've all played a ton of WoW. It's been fun. We can have that fun in Final Fantasy 14 because it's a better game and it's fine. WWE 2K 2022 came out with a new patch. That patch is incredible, and I need to talk about a positive thing after talking about the negative thing that was the WoW thing. They have added the My GM mode got an update, right? Hello?
Yeah, I heard you.
Oh, well, you didn't say anything. You were just like staring down. Sorry. So you're good. The My GM mode got an update to where they've expanded the amount of the match cards are now larger. You can now do tag titles for both men and women. They have started changing people's names. So like Alexa Bliss is now Alexa Bliss 21, which makes people think that maybe they're going to be putting in a new Alexa Bliss or like a new variation of her from like a different time, or maybe she's going to come back to the show and have a different
or I was about to say she's going to have a different
gimmick or persona or something. And also there's a Shawn Michaels that is Shawn Michaels has now been changed to Shawn Michaels 05. So maybe because there are a lot of alternate styles of characters, like there's a bunch of different Ric Flairs and stuff that you can't play in the other modes right now. They're only in my faction, and people are thinking that maybe this is them setting the road work because they're already in the fucking game. Just put them in the exhibition mode so everybody can use them.
Because there's a ton of like you're talking about, like superstars who have been there for 30 more years, and they have so many different eras of that same character.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, like super long hair mullet Ric Flair versus like short hair Ric Flair versus tuxedo Ric Flair versus like old man coked out Ric
Undertaker's Flair. a big thing they've already done it with.
Right, but he has all those personas, and you can play as all those in every mode. So like that's that like basically again sets the groundwork for that. So I'm hoping that them knowing this game is performing so well is giving them some freedom to do some of that stuff. They added the new NXT arena from NXT 2.0. They have now added that arena, and the announcer pack for that the announcer suite has been put in the game for that whole thing for free. That's super cool.
That's cool.
They have added in a bunch of different referees for all the different shows. It's not just a black shirt referee, because like WCW has their own kind of referee. It's like an old blue shirt thing. Like the SmackDown has from like the 2000s has like a blue and black stripe ref instead of like a black and white stripe. And so that's in the game, all in the files and stuff. You can see them, but you can't use them yet, but they are in the game. So a lot of people are thinking that the My Faction is going to be able to be allowed in like the exhibition mode is what people are hoping for, because they're starting to do all these name changes in the roster in the exhibition mode. So they're hoping that is laying the groundwork for that. There were, I'm not going to mention all these, I'm just going to say there were hundreds of animation and character model fixes and a lot of performance things that were all very good. Thank you for doing those. Those are wonderful. Apparently people have discovered that you can break the ring again. So if you're fighting like Andre the Giant or like the Undertaker or someone who's really big, and you like suplex them off the top rope, you can really slam them into the ring and it'll break and it KOs them. They have added back entrances to online play.
Oh, that's nice.
It's very exciting. They have updated a lot of the hair in the game because there were some glitches going on.
Some of that stuff was getting weird.
Yeah. They have done a lot of superstar model tweaks, they've said. And on the 26th, the first DLC pack comes out. It will have Casey Catanzaro, Omos, Yokozuna, Rikishi. It's the Bonsai pack, is why it's all these. It's why it's themed around all these people. And last but certainly not least, and I wrote it here, and I wrote 7 A's after it because it is. Hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen. Umaga. I'm very excited about that. I just want to listen to Umaga's theme song. It's so good. It's such a bop. You just start doing the haka to. Give me. So good. It's so good. And the very last thing I have to talk about is and this is basically it. I wrote down a thing that will. Update. Sure, we can talk about that. That they basically made it where people were like, "Oh, we're beating Millennia. That's cool." And they were like, "Yeah, we all heard that Let Me Solo Her was being very cool. Well, what if we nerf everything that helps you fight that boss?" And that sucks. I don't know if they've buffed anything. For me, I just heard they keep nerfing blood. They just keep nerfing blood.
No, they haven't really quote unquote nerfed it. They've only nerfed very specific items. Like they nerfed Swarm of Flies, which you could literally just stand back and throw that at her.
Sure.
But they because I know you for a long time, they improved colossal weapon stuff. They've improved the damage.
Good. Did they recover? Did they recover?
They increased the speed on the swing.
Okay, yeah, good. They've increased that speed. It was very much like that guy can hit me 37 times before I hit him once.
So they want that to be more of a meta than just jumping and swinging two of them. That was the only thing people would do with colossal weapons.
I was jumping and swinging one of them because it was actually faster to jump and swing than it was to actually swing and recover.
Yeah, what people were doing was they were getting two of them and doing that, just whacking people.
It makes sense because it was the same animation regardless of how encumbered you were.
Yeah, with the I think specifically with the grafted greatsword, they increased the damage on it because it wasn't dealing enough damage for what it was.
I will tell you that it was not dealing enough damage for what it was. I actually upgraded it and then stopped using it because I was like, this isn't great. Guts' sword actually does more damage.
Yeah, they did a bunch of changes for spells and stuff to make certain things more useful over others.
It's awesome. That's good. Yeah. But all I heard about was that blood was getting smashed into the ground and the moon katana or whatever.
It's not blood specifically.
Rivers of blood or whatever.
It's for specific weapons and items.
I gotcha.
Actually, as far as I know, Rivers of Blood didn't really get changed.
Okay, maybe it was the last patch. They did something to it in a recent patch. I just don't remember what it was because I don't use it, so I don't read those patch notes.
I use it and it really hasn't changed for me, but maybe I just haven't noticed. But yeah, it's so there's you could actually go look at the whole patch notes, but those were the big ones. Is there was a lot of changes for specifically with the colossal weapons. Some spells have been changed to, make, because for a while there was just there was 2 or 3 spells people would basically use.
Right.
They've changed a bunch of stuff like that to get people to use more of the tool set. A big one for me is the madness animation that it would make you go through that was unskippable has been shortened, so you don't sit there and hold your head for 10 seconds.
Dude, have you seen that build where people were doing what they called the Gundam build?
No.
Oh, it was crazy. It looked super fun. You get some kind of laser that you makes people go madness, and you do some spell that makes you turn into steel, and then you just walk around while shooting this madness laser out of your eyes while you take severely reduced damage because you're steel skin, and so you're just walking in like a Gundam, just going. And everybody dies. It looks so fun. It made me go I guarantee that'd be really hard to get all those pieces because that's a super late game build. That's not easy stuff to obtain, but it looked fun.
But there's probably more stuff that I'm missing, but that's a lot of the big points to it.
I totally forgot that was a thing. I'm glad you brought it up. But yeah. The one thing that I have here in super tiny letters, because we've gone through so much news, was there's a I feel strongly about how I want to play a lot of those Nintendo online games, but I just can't justify that price tag for how little they actually give you. One game a month of the Nintendo 64 emulator that's literally not even remastered. It's literally just a poorly optimized emulation of a thing. Yeah. I can't justify paying $60 for that. I'll pay $20 for the Nintendo just to play online. But apparently there's a rumor that there's a leak that happened, is that someone found the GBA and Game Boy Color emulator in the I know it's at least the GBA. I would assume that the Game Boy Color and regular Game Boy would be involved as well, but that the leak is out of the latest firmware, that it's sitting there dormant in a staging setup. There was 4 games. It was Pokemon. I think it was Pokemon Pinball Ruby and Sapphire, Pokemon a Super Mario Advanced one or something like that, and a couple other things I saw in the screenshots. I forget what all the games were, but it looks like Nintendo might be getting ready to stage that if these are actually real and it's not just 4chan being trolls. But, you know, we have no reason to think they wouldn't be doing that in this case for both reasons. You could see why people would think it was or was not them being trolls.
Yeah. I mean, it very well could be them doing that, trying to add even more value to their online service.
Correct, because right now they know that most people are like, I don't really want to play that. Yeah. Like, I'm not paying for that for a game that I could literally just go download if I didn't think you were going to sue me through the fucking floor.
That's true.
I have
literally the only thing that I've wanted to play off the N64 is Majora's Mask again, but it's hard because, again, a better version came out for the 3DS, and that's not the version you get to play on the Switch.
Yes, correct. Yeah, no, there's I was thinking there was a game the other day. Oh, what was it? It was there was a 64 game the other day that was like, man, I'd love to play that, and it's on the online, but I can't think of what it is. Was it Paper Mario? It might be Paper Mario. I think Paper Mario 1 is on that.
I think so, yeah.
But I think it was that. I was just like, I'd love to just play through Paper Mario because it feels like it's a very long game, but it's pretty short. If you know what you're doing, you can just knock it out.
Yeah.
But that game, I love that game. It's a great game. Thousand Year Door, also a great game. We're probably not getting GameCube for a while, but maybe on the Switch 2 we'll get GameCube. Who knows?
Maybe.
I had a discussion point, but we have covered a lot of news and a lot of other things, and we went on and talked about the WoW thing. Yeah, okay, so you think that we're going long. What if I told you this is the length of an actual episode that we normally do?
Huh.
See, that's what I'm saying. You think that we're going long, but I'm literally looking at the time and it's not.
I just feel like we've just maybe it's because we've just been talking about a lot.
We've just been talking about so much, but this is literally it is we have not we're at like the 2.5 hour mark, which is like we normally go between like an hour and 45 to like 2.5. So we're like still in that. And also part of that running time was also me having to go check a door, so or check on the dog, whatever. But anyway, what do we got we want to talk about, Joe? What we got on the way out? What's for our outro here, friendo? Cooking Companions is going.
Go play Lost in Random.
Go play Lost Random. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. That's my recommendation for the week. It doesn't. I don't know how long the games end up being. It doesn't feel like it's going to be super long. But
my recommendation is if you've never played No Man's Sky, go play that while you listen to a good podcast because that's on Game Pass. As far as I know, pretty sure it's still on Game Pass. It's a good game. You can really just like chill out while you listen to this podcast or watch some of our Let's Plays on a second monitor or something because we've got Cooking Companions and that is a ride. Check your emotions at the door, ladies and gentlemen, because it's gonna hurt.
It was one of those things where parts of it were hard because we're trying to keep things light and fun and try to keep
we are trying to
commentary
add
and all that type of stuff
to something that is just unleavened bread in emotional form. You just cannot make that dough rise. It's just woof. Yeah, that was definitely a thing. That and then I think. Today
but watch that. Make our pain worth it.
Yes. Today is the last episode of Bug Snacks until the expansion comes out, so I haven't put finale on this yet because I want it to just sit there until the expansion comes out. Then we'll go back to it and then we'll see it off that way. So I don't want to close that door yet because we already know it's going to be open in a couple weeks. We are starting in Sound Mind tomorrow.
Yeah.
We've got 2 episodes that recorded already, so those will be coming out. Yeah. We'll be recording more as it goes on. The Glover remaster came out, and it turns out that it's not really much of a remaster, apparently. So I was going to get it and have us take a look at it, but until they do something to it, I don't want to touch it because I'm not paying $20 for Glover when it hasn't had anything done with it. Apparently it doesn't have any graphics options in the remaster, so... And it looks like the PS1 copy, not the Nintendo 64 copy, which somehow the PS1 version was the worst version of that game.
Yeah, their polygons were not as good.
Yeah, it was very strange. So, I have been Dead Action Jones.
And I've been Joe Zombie.
We are still standing. If you like listening to this podcast, you made it this far, hit the like button. If you're on SoundCloud or Apple, rate us, give us
those 5 stars, give us a thumbs up.
So we get put into that thing and more people see. It helps us a lot. If you're on YouTube, comment with the games that you've been playing this week. I want to know what other people have been playing, because I have been in my own little tunnel playing the things that I've been playing with you. And or
let us know what games you plan on playing during the AAA game drought.
Sure, because finally there is one and I can breathe again. Hallelujah, thus saith me. That's about it for us. Keep on keeping on. We love you. We thank you for everything you do. And until next time, bye.